We're live? All right. We made it. We overcame all of the... Yeah. We overcame all of the lovely gremlins that we just caught up to. But, hello everybody. Welcome to the We Are Nerdsmith Twitch channel. It's a lovely time here as we host the Pactless Patrons one-shot. Yes, in celebration of the Kickstarter event of the season, we have decided to bring aboard a couple of familiar faces and familiar voices, hopefully, coming soon to your ear holes. But as I said at the top, this is a Nerdsmith event that we've coordinated with Riley of Pactless Patrons, as well as the lovely cast members that you see before you. We'll have introductions in a second, but I thank you all so much for coming out here and giving us your audience. Thank you so much to Angela on production as we face all of these lovely technical issues. And thank you to this wonderful cast for having the wherewithal to entrust in me a modicum of power as I take the DM seat for this beautiful one-shot that we'll be running. Just starting a modicum of power in the order that I see you, I suppose. Tim, hello there.
Hello.
Very good to meet you. Very good to see you. How about you go ahead and tell the folks who you are, what you're playing, or who you're playing, I should say. And just as a little point of flair, your experience level with the wonderful world of Dungeons and Dragons. Just as a little point of flair, your experience level with the wonderful
I have zero experience.
Hey!
I am so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
In Pactless Patrons, I voice Corn Bloodhome, who is your typical half vampire, half werewolf, lumberjack, murdering, rampaging, who is your typical lovable guy, vampire, and murdering, rampaging. That's basically it. That's all I know. It was so funny. I've had people ask me, oh wow, you're really into D&D. It's like, no, I'm an actor. This is a cool character, and I'm lucky enough to play him. So let's do it. So I am here to kind of play around with Corn a little bit and see what kind of guy he really is, because he's just kind of your friendly lumberjack vampire, werewolf kind of guy. But I am here to play around with the character and to learn from all of you experienced, brilliant, creative folk. So that's it.
Experience, creative. Yeah, we'll take it where we can get it. Tim, thank you so much for for joining us, and we shall have a good time with your, again, prototypical half werewolf, half vampire, blood obsessed patron. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry.
Typical guy.
Yeah. Again, going in the order that I see, Callie. Hello. Very good to see you. Very good to meet you. Very good to have you here. Go ahead and let me know who you are, what you're playing, and your level of experience with D&D, your level of interest. How you feeling? How's things going? Day treating you well? Drinking enough water, etc., etc.
I'm feeling fantastic. I have my water in my sparkly cup right here for me.
Good.
Yes, my name is Callie Wills. This is D&D since 9th grade. So that's about 8 years for me. August 19th, I will be 21, so that's great. And I will be playing Sstar of the Brightlands. She's a super sparkly, amazing unicorn, but I'm also really tough, so don't mess with me because I have a goth streak.
All right. Yeah, no, it's very perilous to mess with somebody so bright on the outside, and yet there's just that tinge of inner darkness that just harbors in the soul. So glad to have you aboard. So glad to have you on the channel. As we move along very graciously, Zach, hello. Very good to meet you. Very good to see you. Yeah. Good to hear. And who are you? What are you going to be playing? Level of experience with D&D? Some of the folks might actually have seen you before. So
my level of experience with D&D and role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, goes back many decades now. Started playing Dungeons and Dragons because of my uncle who was into wargaming back in the 70s. We went to a shop so he could pick up tanks, and there was these 3 little pamphlets that told us about how to crunch numbers to outfit imaginary characters with chainmail, and how to build dungeons and with our imaginations and go kill monsters and take all their stuff. And I've been growing with the game for ever since. I took a short break after a table flipping moment in 3.5 and took a few years off and came back at the tail end of 4E, and I am a huge 5E fan, and still looking to get into other games right now. I want to try the new Call of Cthulhu really badly. I recently did my first game of 10 Candles that was just absolutely amazing. There's so many great creators and so many cool systems out there that are not D&D and not 5e that I'm really it's just, I don't know if I've just got enough time to try all of them because there's so many great creators out there. But today I will be playing Malonk the Minnie Mouth. In Pactless Patrons, I am part of an ensemble cast. We actually have several talented voice actors that will be the Minnie Mouths of Malonk. We are ancient. We are timeless. We know that we are supposed to find someone to bestow power upon, and in return, we should feed on their souls. But more than anything, we are really just looking for a friend. So that is my story.
Oh, it me in patron form. It's so good to see you. So good to have you. Oh my God. I certainly sympathize with the comment of, so many creators, so many hours in the day, but all of it wonderful, all of it fantastic. As we move to our final cast member or member of the production, it's a little thing, but CB, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hello. Yes, CB here, also known as the Critical Bard. Yes, I'm technically part of the production team, as I'm one of the musical folks we have who have joined up, along with Kelly Butler, aka Opera Geek. You'll hear some music from us soon and some other things, but also you might see this character who I'm playing now later. He's kind of a interesting person, fae. His name is Aston Otto, and he is the melody of the plains. He longs to inspire and make sure that the world understands that music isn't just song and dance. It breathes within us, and the sooner the world knows this, the better it could be. So, right now he's just joining because his master has told him to stop lollygagging, even though that's exactly what he's doing right now. So he's gonna have some fun.
Indeed, indeed, as a quest for importance is about to be bestowed upon Aston Otto and this intrepid gang. But before that, Angela did want to make sure that are we giving direct thanks to Riley and the Pactless Patrons team as they have allowed their presence here. They have a Kickstarter going on. If you go to @Pactless Patrons on Twitter, you'll find a link to that. You'll probably even find a link to that in chat at the present moment. But Nerdsmith is a hardy little collective of young, upstart, creative types. I am amongst them. Hello. Very good to see you. Name's Jason. You can find me at JustJasonPlease on Twitter, and I'm involved in several Nerdsmith products at the current moment. One of them being Final Rights, which is going to be tomorrow, but we'll get into that a lot later. At the current moment, as we give thanks again to Riley and Pactless Patrons for coming aboard, I suppose we should probably hop into the task at hand. The place, the interdimensional multiplanar equivalent of an office room. A circle of sufficiently comfortable chairs sits in its center. The time, largely irrelevant. given the aforementioned multiplanar nature of this space. Think of it as the time between far too early and frustratingly prompt. The patrons, yet to arrive. The problem, yet to be discovered. I'd like everyone very, very quickly to roll a dex check for me, please. So, Tim, I'll be. I hope you won't mind if I direct some of this. Yeah, I'll direct some of this towards you. Okay. So what you're going to do is take a d20, just the circular of the polyhedrals that you've got, and just roll it out and tell me the number. That's a 6, you say?
Yes.
A 6. Okay. Now, on your sheet, there will be something called DEX. That's dexterity. What is the number right next to that modifier? Or what is the number next to those letters? Or underneath them, I think it should be.
What did I do with him? Where did I put my sheet? There he is.
There he is. All right. So we have ability checks. You've got STR. DEX should be right next to it. So what is the number beneath?
On my ability check, right? Plus 3.
Plus 3. All right. Awesome. That means that with the 6 that you rolled on a dex check, you add plus 3 to that, giving you
9.
Yes, a wonderful, wonderful 9. We've got the basics down pat. It's wonderful. So you've just figured out at least a good portion of the system. Whenever I ask you to roll a skill check, if you have a particular marker next to it, add that to it. So if I ask you to roll a stealth check or a perception check or anything like that, or if I even ask you to make a saving throw, which is something completely different, we'll get to it later, then we add the relevant modifiers. As it stands, you got a 9. Callie, what did you get?
15.
Oh, wow. Okay. Zach?
That'd be a 3, Jason.
Okay, is that just a straight 3? No dexterity, like nothing?
It's a plus 0, so yeah, it's a straight 3.
Just a straight 3. That's good to know. Good to know. Aston Otto, CB, what'd you get?
Surprisingly, only a 13.
Only a 13. Okay, this is very, very interesting.
Yep.
A water cooler gurgles, seemingly unbidden and certainly unwelcome. It sits atop a table, long and well-worn. A sad fern, artificial yet somehow wilted, plagues the left corner of this room. There's a whiteboard next to a tripod opposite the plastic plant. It is blank, and it is menacing. To this scene, you are welcomed, Sstar. Describe for the good incorporeal audience who we see enter into this, the meeting space of the Pactless Patrons Support Group.
Well, you see a gorgeous, kind of buttery gold yellow unicorn with this beautiful mane that just flows in the wind and seems to sparkle, even though. But it's there. She's got a beautiful horn that's constantly sparking with that eldritch magic. In that mane of hers, she has just this singular streak of black and blue to show what's kind of on the inside. And she stops and saw her slip up and then tries to smoothly sit down in a chair.
All right. Yeah, no, perfectly fine. Chairs are as comfortable as they can be. You know, it's especially given that it's not necessarily for a unicorn form. It's a little hard to finagle. I'd like you to make a perception check, just really quickly for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's an 18 plus 9, so...
Very high. We'll put that at a good even 27 for you.
It's 27, yep.
Yeah. All right. So, taking a look around, the familiar stale air is kind of plaguing this room, and it's. You signed up for this. You know what the support group is about, and you understand that it's really about delving into what you want from yourself as a patron, not just what you're seeking for in those you're trying to conscript. And you have all of these thoughts running in your head as you look around. The scenery is plain and uninviting, but as you sniff the air, there's just nothing. Like it really confuses you because normally, at least what you've been able to divine from the meetings that you've been able to attend, there are refreshments of some sort that are provided. At this point in time, being as ephemeral as possible here, usually it's a safe bet to assume there would be a pot of coffee brewing and maybe some donuts or little pastries of some description. But the table is bare, save for the water cooler, which, as you stare at it very intently, begins to gurgle once more. It's frustrating, but as you sort of attend your hearing, another begins to traipse, not in the hallway, but the ceiling of the hallway. Aston Otto. Who do we see as we as we note Aston Otto's entrance into the room?
Well, the first thing you notice is that he is it's a weird mix of dull but still crystalline emerald. That's the coloring of his skin. At least that's what he likes to portray himself as. You do notice again that he's not on the ground, but he is walking on the ceiling, but he's not walking. It looks like he's almost walking, but each step is not actually touching the ceiling. He's kind of there. And he kind of ducks down to get in. He has long-ish red-orange hair. His eyebrows are red as well. No whites in his eyes. He is whistling, which I can't do, so don't ask me to do it.
Also, looking good on microphone. Let me attest.
Exactly.
Very many complaints.
Yeah, he's wearing pants that are pants. He actually isn't wearing a shirt right now, but he doesn't consider there's not a level of privacy with him because he's not really a form. Surprisingly as well, he is more solid than he normally is. He's actually taking interest in not trying to be hidden. And yeah, that's kind of what you see.
Sstar. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sstar, as you see this figure traipse in, I'd like you to make a history check, just real quick.
Okay. That is a 20, unnatural.
Okay, 20 unnatural. An unnatural 20. So you get the sense that Aston Otto... You know the name Aston Otto right off the bat. And the only reason you know the name is that your moderator specifically, not warned, but at least advised that perhaps this patron in particular might be within the support group this coming session, given that they had received orders or had been advised to be moved around not only by faculty within the support group staff, but also from an outside source that you can't recall the name of at the present moment.
Hi.
Hey, I like you.
Oh, thank you. Welcome. Actually, we have stuff to serve, but have anything at the moment. But I could, I actually have this spell that I can create some. This one here, you get first dibs. What do you want?
What are you thinking about making, a little hoofed? Interesting one.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe some cup. No, right? Like steak and.
Ooh. Well, I don't really eat meat that often, but I can do something, perhaps. Maybe a pork chop, or maybe, I don't know, a chicken
Pork
wing.
chop?
I haven't had a chicken wing in a long time.
Okay. Oh yeah. Let's do like some fried chicken and and maybe some like lemonade.
Ooh. And how about this? You make lemonade, I'll make it taste like the best lemonade you've ever tasted.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to butter. So I'm gonna make some chicken wings and some like water that's theirs, so that he can put some lemon in it.
And
Okay.
as she does that, he like again he's walking downward, but he's not stepping on anything. And as he gets there, he kind of just does a little finger twirl as he flavors this chicken and this water to taste like the most delectable food they've ever eaten.
I'd like you very quickly, Aston Otto, to make a Arcana check.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Don't screw me over. Okay. That is a 17. 10 plus 7.
Okay. It's a valiant effort, obviously, but underlying this magic, specifically this spell being create food and water as a star, so wonderfully described, it's a little tricky to parse. Sometimes whenever somebody calls upon their magics to create a particular type of food, certain tastes don't translate well, or worse yet, they don't translate at all. Sstar, I'd like you to roll a Arcana check, please, as well.
Oh no!
Oh God.
A natural one.
Oh no.
Okay. You cast the spell like perfectly fine. You've done this thousands of times before. It's perfectly wonderful. You create it. It looks delicious, delectable. As soon as you take in a bite of it, it is the most horrendous sensory experience that you have ever like wrought. Like Aston Otto, you tried to make it good, but it sort of made it worse because unfortunately, as you bite into the chicken wings, the sort of sunshine and like sugariness of the cupcakes that you had mentioned before, Sstar, actually come through, and they mix with the breading, and like it is an absolute textural nightmare after a while. It like
Spit it out in the plant.
of course you do.
You spit it out in the plant?
Yes, in the plant.
I don't see any other place to spit it out.
There is no other place.
Aston Otto actually looks down at the plant and just shakes his head and goes, I'm so sorry. Even minor keys can be tasty. Enjoy. Because he can actually speak to plants and animals.
This plant is completely artificial. It has no response.
Never mind. I can't talk to you at all, but I tried.
Yeah. As this transpires, Tim, Corn, heavy footfalls fall along the hallway of this magnificent space as we see Corn Bloodhome squeeze through the door. It's not uncomfortable. It's just, a little bit of a tight fit. But as you walk
sideways,
through,
I can get through. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly fine there. So as you enter into the space, Aston Otto, Sstar, meet Corn. Tim, who is Corn, and how does he look like?
Corn is a very intimidating looking fella, but he's really a sweetheart inside. He's a half vampire, half werewolf, lumberjack, and yeah, he's a bloodthirsty killer, but he's kind of a sweetheart, yeah. And he always wears plaid, because you always got to wear plaid, and he carries an axe like human mortals carry their cell phones. It's kind of an extension of who he is and what he does.
Sure.
But he recognizes that he's a very intimidating presence. So he tries to kind of settle things down and not be so intimidating when he's actually conversing with people.
Aston Otto, Sstar, both of you, you'll see a pattern here. Both of you roll history checks real quick for me.
History's under int, right? Or the wisdom?
Another natural one.
Oh, wow. Yes, it's under intelligence.
It's intelligence, okay. I'm like,
I believe so, at least.
ooh, nice. Dirty 20.
Hey. Okay, so Sstar, I'll describe it thusly. You're very occupied with getting out like the little nooks and crannies of your teeth. It's like it should have been easier. Like maybe if you had just gone with something that was maybe a little bit like some sort of parfait or like maybe just a step away. You shouldn't have gone whole hog or in this case whole chicken. And like it doesn't really fit. You're distracted. Aston Otto. The maestro wasn't specific in their instructions to you. They're simply to explore and to find out new things on their behalf, which that comes with a whole host of connotations on its own. You know, you are the melody of the plains after all. You can do what you want. You could get patrons if you wanted to. At any rate, Corn Bloodhome. Oh, what can be said? Decent enough fella, at least from what you've heard from a couple of the other support group members. There was this lich you can't remember the name of, but he seemed kind of chill about Corn.
His name is Steve.
Yeah, something like that. Steve or Daniel or who cares? All right, but from what you can tell, Corn just misunderstood. You know, a case of you got a home full of blood and people just make assumptions.
It's what I do. It's not who I am.
Exactly. And you sort of hear that that phrase reverberate across your mind as Corn. Make a perception check real quick.
Okay.
So what it is?
Help me on this.
Yep, no worries. So it's roll a d20.
I can do that. And 17.
Okay, and if you look under skill bonuses, which is under saving throws on your sheet, you'll see right there, what's that? A perception +9.
Skill bonuses. There we go. Perception +9. Yes.
Exactly. So 17 +9, that's a 26.
26.
If my math is correct. Yes. Well, it's really good. Moderators usually very prompt. You try to be on time as best you can. You kind of came a little bit early, but as you look around, you note that the moderator isn't here, so the refreshments aren't here. That's kind of what they're in charge of. So you just figure that, oh, well, when the moderator gets here, so will the food and whatnot. And actually, as you take a gander into the room itself, between Aston Otto and Sstar, you see the massacred, bits of... You assume it to be fried chicken at first, but as you smell, it's like it's made of cake, but it's been coated and deep fried, and there's icing. It's really strange. You didn't even get to the water lemonade portion of it, which is equally as heinous, or would be. So Corn, this is the sight that you are greeted with.
And well, first of all, I'm used to stuff like this happening, so I actually brought my own lunchbox, and I've got a thermos full of blood and some seared flesh, and so I don't really worry about it too much, but I can sense there's a little bit of tension in the room, and I mean these seem like fairly decent folks, so I'm just going to come in and I'm going to say hello and just be as pleasant as I can.
Can Aston Otto smell what's in his lunchbox?
Perception check.
16.
It's hard to parse. It's not. You assume it to be food of some sort. The thermos is it's got a little patina that doesn't really come from any other liquid than blood, which, there's probably something different in there. It can't be just blood. That would be ridiculous, right? You're not entirely sure, but you have a fair understanding that, this is his lunchbox. It's something that he eats, at least.
Aston Otto just looks at him and goes, "You're big. Interesting." He just kind of floats back a little bit. Just a little bit of space.
Wait, thank you. Thank you for noticing. And you're quite quite floaty. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Like a warm cappuccino on a winter's day. You know how like the foam floats on top, and none of you have probably ever had a cappuccino. So never mind. Just gonna stay over here. And
Oh
just
no,
watch.
no, I've seen it before. You probably get the ones with the little heart. That's in in the top of the cappuccino. I get that. Yeah.
Oh, it's really
You ever
nice.
had a corn cappuccino? It's really good. Better than this chicken. Don't eat it, corn. I see you brought your own. Good.
Yeah.
Get it away.
Yeah, I brought my own because I just in case the moderator was late, because sometimes she is. So I didn't want to be a bother.
Of course. Okay, wow. This will be an interesting introduction. Zach, you with us?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the first thing you see in the doorway. Pardon me. The first thing you see in the doorway is a tentative mouth that just sort of spills into the frame, like filling the bottom. A sort of eye kind of rolls and accompanies it. And suddenly, after about a good minute of looking, suddenly the full form of Molunk the Many-Mouthed appears.
We normally come on Wednesday, but the meeting on Thursday was said to be more appropriate. And Molunk makes his way into the room and eyes each of the occupants nervously. And then I go over and sit by the water cooler. It's good to see you again. At least I know I've got one friend here.
The water cooler.
You're looking, and his fleshy form is he's quite, Malonk, I'm quite large when my mouths are twitching nervously, and you hear a small argument from some of the mouths, sort of, which should be around the belly area. It's like, we were going to be late. We should have stopped and eaten on the way here, but we want to make our way here on time. So you two be quiet. You're going to upset our friend, as the water cooler.
Yep. No, absolutely.
And there's so many new faces. I do hope that they like us.
So many new mouths.
Thank you. You're too kind. We haven't met before. Are you new to these meetings? We're new to this particular day. What's your name, large fella?
My name is Corn Bloodhome.
Corn Blood.
Nice to meet you.
Bloodhome? That sounds. That sounds. It sounds like you're from some. Is that a familial name, or did you earn it somehow?
Yes and yes. Yeah. The Bloodhomes go back many generations. Yeah. Lots of vampires on one side, lots of werewolves on the other. Yeah, we like blood.
I'm not really sure how to respond to that, but perhaps we could work out my feelings in this session. Yes?
Yes. Well, what are you feeling, little fella?
Currently, I would describe it as abject terror, but, well, you do seem nice enough. Hold on a second, and he moves back to the water cooler, and just eyes nervously the rest of the occupants. My eyes go at the sight of this large, beautiful unicorn. You see, like, around the mini cheeks, around the mouth, starts blushing slightly, and then looks back towards the crystalline-skinned being that's floating just off the ground, and 6 of the mini mouths just drop open, and wow, and stares in wonder for a moment. Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Well, It's good to see you all. And he kind of like starts like with the fleshy bits that are on the ground where his feet should be, begins kicking around a little piece of paper that's on the floor, and casting my eyes down.
For a second, I thought you said you were going to cast a spell, and I had a heart attack. But Aston Otto, Korn, Callie, or Sstar, excuse me. Go ahead and roll history checks for me, please. And Molonk, if you would be so kind, a perception check at disadvantage given your disposition.
I'm not gonna believe this. Another natural one.
Okay, whatever dice you're using, I suggest that you pick it up.
It's in the jail.
Then,
It's
yeah,
in the
just
jail.
it's a rehabilitative process. It just needs to learn.
I have the ability to bestow curses, but I haven't done one yet. So
Yeah. That's just pure statistics. Corn Bloodhome. What'd you get?
Okay, that's rolling the 20 and then doing the intelligence.
Yes.
What is the? Okay, so that comes out to an 8.
An 8. All right.
And rolling at disadvantage, I had a 19 and a 1.
Oh. Okay. We'll get to that in turn. Aston Otto.
As a being who has traversed the plains, and has put his ear in everything, so he should know everything. Got a 5.
Okay. The maestro is usually kind of like an ephemeral character. They told you nothing about
he told
this.
Me nothing.
Like nothing, absolutely nothing. Like zilch. Like couldn't even like maybe mention that there was gonna be this Molonk the Many Mouth. Like what the hell, Korn? Just that slight bit more. Like the moderator has talked with you about a few of the other patrons, obviously keeping confidentiality, but she specifically described one as, well, they're all nervous, but one that was more nervous than the rest, and that she felt that your energy might, your welcoming tone might, calm down or at least be simpatico with this individual. That could be Molonk. I mean, could be. We don't know, but it could be.
It's kind of described to me, but I wasn't quite prepared for this,
Yeah, it's that thing of degrees. Like, you hear that something's going to be one way, you get an impression, and then when it comes, it's like, oh wow, that's really how it is there. Okay, Sstar, you finally get that last bit of whatever fried concoction out of like one of your molars, and so you're just fine with that. Like everything else that has transpired is just out of your head. Molonk, you're very nervous. Like it's just I understand that's sort of shall we say a well-known fact, but you've done nothing to hide it. And as you sort of look around, semi-familiar faces, unfamiliar faces, more often than not. No refreshments. You've got those sort of squibbling arguments like we should have eaten, we didn't eat. Like what the hell going on? It's just a lot of pressure on you at the moment, and it really is just kind of one of those moments where you need some sort of reprieve, and it comes in the form of a slight text tone that each of you receives. Just to sort of lay it out, you all have cell phones, just to make it clear. So I will give you at least a chance to customize. Korn. What's the text tone that Korn Bloodhome has?
Oh goodness, it's an axe chopping into wood or something fleshy or something. It's hacking away at something.
Was this something you recorded yourself, or was this sort of a download?
This was a download. It's amazing what you can find on the internet these days.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just definitely some corners of the internet that cater to a very specific audience.
There's a website for everything, I tell you.
Yeah. Aston Otto?
It's music formed from the maestro, and he is the conductor. And this certain tune came from the ethereal plane, and it goes a little thing like. So that's what you hear. You've never heard it before. It's totally
No.
original.
Totally unfamiliar. Original composition, like
Never
nothing.
heard it.
Yeah, no, never. Like even no history checks necessary.
At
Totally
all.
novel at all. Sstar?
It's actually a ringtone, playing a snippet from one of her favorite songs, the heavy metal band Raise the Dead, spelled with a Z, of course, blaring at top volume.
It's a little jarring, but you love the song. It was off of one of their later sort of grindcore albums. They dipped into it for a little while, but you know, they made it work as best they could. Outside of that, Molunk, dare I ask?
As my phone begins to ring and buzz furiously in my pocket, you hear, as he fumbles with it and gets it out and tries to silence it real quickly, you hear the chorus from Randy Newman's "You've Got a Friend in Me."
Of course. What else could it be?
Hey, when Molunk talks on the phone, what mouth does he use?
Question for the philosopher's corner.
All of them.
Or
So you keep it on speaker. I get it. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Didn't expect voice effects there. Glad to know. All right, so all simultaneously, or semi-simultaneously, the reception here is just, nah. Your phones spring to life with an ill-fated message. Dark words on distinctly not dark screens. It is your moderator. Hello all! Slight hiccup in today's scheduling. One of my ritual teleportation gems isn't being very cooperative right now, so I have to go to an artificer to get that sorted. We'll be looking at a session delay of at least an hour. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to swing by Girantino's for our refreshments. That being said, anyone already in our regular conference room should be able to pick up the scheduled order so long as you mention my name, or at least tell them that you're picking up on behalf of the support group. You wonder about the fact that you don't actually know your moderator's name for a brief moment before she sends a follow-up. Getting to Girantino's is actually pretty easy. It's in Nadul, so all you have to do is head down the hallway from our space, take a left, and over by the vending machines, there should be an ancient portal of unspeakable and stupendous cosmic power. Wait until it turns yellow, and jump on through. It'll spit you out probably about a block away from the storefront. Just follow the same procedure in reverse to get back. A smiley face dots the end of her missive. An hour's wait now stands between you all and deep communal psychological processing. All without donuts or coffee. You figure at least getting to Girantino's might be a good way to kill time. What do you do?
So
I can go pick it up. Who wants to go with me?
wait, hold on. We have to go down the hall, make a left at some vending machine, go to the portal of cosmic craziness, whatever it's called, wait till it's yellow, jump through, do what we need to do, come back in the reverse order. Right?
That's the text that I got as well. And to be honest, the walls are feeling a little close here. I think some fresh air would do me good as well. We shall accompany.
I agree. I'd like to stretch my legs.
Yeah, because you look a little uncomfortable in that chair. You should really stand up. Yeah, probably would feel better.
It's a process, definitely. You're right though. We should probably get some good food this time around. I'm in.
Well, why not? Let's have some fun. Let's beat the sick.
That's the water cooler bubbles one more time. Bloop, bloop. Malunk turns to it and says, I know your feelings are valid, and I appreciate it, but we'll be back in a little while. Okay, let's go.
Can Aston Otto figure out what the hell is in that water cooler?
Make an insight check, please.
Natural 20.
Okay, Malunk, what's the deal with the water cooler? Is this just sort of like a sort of ritual that you have? Is this like what's going on?
Well, I find that sometimes talking to inanimate objects makes it easier for me to talk to other people. So, and, well, the water cooler doesn't judge me.
And of course, hey, this is a perfectly valid response. Molung, you know, you've got a lot of anxieties and you know, the water cooler doesn't judge. It just doesn't, you know, and this was actually...
And plus we're kind of shaped alike, so I feel like we get each other.
Yeah, there's... Just breathe. It's very... I know, but you know, this is the way. Of course, Malunk, we appreciate and love this. This behavior is helping you process, helping you get a grip on what you're going through. You're doing, you know.
I've been getting a lot out of my past sessions. Thank you.
Of course. So as
I'm starting to get curious, though. How do we know this is indeed an inanimate object and not something else?
if you'd like, Corn, you can go ahead and roll me a Arcana check if you've got it, but an Intelligence check if you don't.
Okay.
Give it a shot, why not?
Okay, tell me what to roll.
So roll a d20 and then add your Intelligence modifier, unless you have something that says under your skill proficiencies, Arcana.
I do not see Arcana, so no.
So just an Intelligence check.
Okay, let's do that. And roll. Intelligence check. -1. I get 7.
It's a nice water cooler.
That's all it is, eh?
Yeah, it's just really nice water cooler. Yeah.
Okay, so that Molank, he's kind of an odd fellow, but otherwise, okay, got it.
Yeah, and you know, it's the odd fellow. You know, you've been in sessions with liches and like unknowable demons. Like, it really is. It's a very strange assemblage that you've got. But
not the first person I ever saw talk to the water cooler. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. You understand it, especially being sort of so in tune with the moderator. This is just a practice that some people, you know, have that helps them cope. But as you all make your way from the meeting space, pardon, you head down from your space, take a left at the end, sort of T-bone intersection of the hallway, and a little whiles away you see vending machines. Unfortunately, Baron, the support group, it's not strapped for cash most of the time. It's just with the timing, it being sort of the end of the month or the beginning of the month in some planes, no snacks, unfortunately, readily available. Obviously, Corn, you have your lunch pail, but you know, that was just for one person. That one person being you. Aston Otto, Sstar, Molunk, you start to feel not pangs of hunger, but especially Sstar, after that horrendous experience, you get the sense that maybe something else on the pallet would be much appreciated. Just past the lovely vending machines is a circle of infernal and celestial runes, sort of interwoven in a very heinous and unknowable geography. It's a septagon. So as you sort of traipse along this portal, you see that it opens up. It's probably about like 10 foot by 7 foot, like it could comfortably accommodate all of you. But as you look, there's a menacing kind of crystal that vibrates in the uppermost point. It sort of blinks 3 times, and then the color of the portal shifts from green to red.
Did you say there was writing in Celestial on here?
Celestial, Infernal, just all assemblages of magical languages you can attempt to read if you would so desire.
Malunk would like to.
Of course. What languages does Malunk speak?
Common, Celestial, and Deep Speech.
Okay, so you do actually see elements of deep speech, especially along the base of this rune. The elements of deep speech that you see came with the red runes, so you get the sense. Actually, make an Arcana check, and if anybody else speaks Celestial or speech or Infernal, just let me know.
I speak Infernal.
Okay, good to know.
Speak all languages.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Sstar, you can make.
She's in charge then. Yes.
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check if you want. Aston Otto?
No.
No.
I
Just
speak
no.
Sylvan and Elvish, and I speak the language of music.
Okay, so you do see a little bit of Sylvan as well. Okay. The elements of deep speech that appeared with the red runes indicate that this is like. It doesn't explicitly say that this is the domain of great elder ones, but from the vibe, Molunk, that you're getting from it, with an Arcana check of
20.
With an Arcana check of 20, you don't want to go through this one. It's not that it's bad for patrons, obviously, of immense power and unknowable magics such as yourself. It's just that it's such a hassle navigating non-Euclidean geometry. It doesn't really gel with the whole kind of vibe that this space creates. It's not fun. The celestial elements actually seem to be something of warding and rune shaping, like making sure that the magics are properly aligned and properly attuned. Sstar, what was your Arcana check?
19.
Okay, so you, similar to Molunk, like you get the sense that these are the purpose for that. Korn, the Infernal says some stuff, like some pretty rough stuff, like rend asunder the fabric of reality and stuff like that. It's really cool. Sstar and Molunk, you know this to mean, oh, well, this is just literally the motivating runes that make sure that it punches a hole through the universe and lets you travel through it just fine. The Sylvan runes that you recognize, Aston Otto, and that you do as well, Sstar, these tend to be associated with concealment. Aston Otto, you specifically see, keep the path hidden for those who know the way, etc., etc. And Sstar, you recognize that to mean, oh, well, this is just so that nobody who's not in the support group can, surreptitiously stumble upon this entire space where literal gods reside and maybe cause some damage. As you all register this, however, the crystal at the top begins to blink 3 more times, and the colors change from red to yellow. And in common, across the ground, sort of projected in front, you note the words Nadul, City of 1,001 Wonders.
I believe this is where we're supposed to go. It said yellow, right? She said yellow.
I
Yellow.
say yellow.
It's Nadul City. Here we come.
Astonado literally bell. He floats up and almost horizontally bell rolls and flies through.
Of course. Have to go with style. Korn, Sstar, Molunk, I assume.
Korn will probably go last because he's kind of a big guy and he doesn't want to block the portal for the people behind him.
Sure.
I'll trot forward.
One after another, we disappear into the portal. Yes. It's very difficult to describe. Whenever multiplanar travel comes into play, the experience is different for every individual. Aston Otto, you hear the melodies of the universe. Korn, it's like stepping through a pool of blood. Sstar, it's a little uncomfortable because it's like you're being showered with glitter and, tickled with feathers. And Molunk, it's not an unpleasant experience. It's sort of like you're spilling forward into nothingness, and then suddenly somethingness, as each of you lands within. A nondescript yet familiar urban environment surrounds you. Nadul, the city that probably sleeps a bit more than it should, place of a handful of sights that could potentially be classified as wonders if you squint very hard.
Did everyone have a pleasant trip through the portal? Kind of remind me of the last time I tried to put on jeans. It gets squeezed really tight and then spilled out.
I've never tried Gene.
It's not really a pleasant experience for someone of my size. I don't recommend it. By the way, I saw on the internet one time, I believe they called it a meme about how horses wear pants. How would you wear pants?
Well, I honestly don't know. Maybe that's a deeper question that we have to delve into later.
I'm sure we can make you something.
Perhaps we can go celestial shopping at some point and find a tailor that could recommend how you wear pants.
Exactly. Well, speaking of which, are we supposed to be, like, in all our glory right now, or are we supposed to be disguised?
I'll say go ahead, everybody, and make a history check just real quick.
Oh
You wearing
God. No. What was that? It is a 12. I need to go get my dice.
Go fetch your dice real
Wait,
quick.
I
Cindy.
lied. There's one right here. Aha.
Oh, okay. So that's a 12, you say. Corn, what did you get?
11.
11. Okay. Sstar.
11 as well.
Okay. And Molunk.
16.
Okay. Molunk, you're not the most sociable. Obviously, you know, there's a bit of anxiety and nervousness that you're still working through. But
It's not like I don't want to be, though.
Exactly. And you've actually read up on Nadul, City of 1,001 Wonders. But its place in the cosmos was essential at one point in time, but that was really long time ago, and it's beginning to show. As you understand it, however, the support group would not intentionally put you in environs that were unfamiliar or that would require any further concealment. So, long story short of it being, you think it's pretty okay that you're, what you are. Nadul is full of the most fantastical and, like, weird entities. They've got, tieflings, dragonborn, actual dragons, and actual devils, It's just...
Sstar, you shouldn't have to worry about disguises here. This place is perfectly safe for any number of beings, especially an elder celestial as yourself. They've seen many wonders here. Perhaps not as wondrous as you, but I believe we've said too much.
At that point, as you say, it's perfectly safe. It's perfectly fine. I'd like you all to roll dexterity saving throws.
Oh. Question: is this something magical?
No.
That's fine. 26.
Ooh. 15.
All right, Corn, you rolled a d20. What did you get on the dice?
7 and a +3, I've got 10.
Awesome. And Malunk.
5.
It's a +3 from ability check or saving throw. Just make sure he knows the difference.
Saving throws. And it doesn't matter, they're both +3 anyway. So there you go.
Cool. I wasn't sure.
Great. Okay. As you again, Molunk and Tone, this is a perfectly safe place. No worries whatsoever. You hear a sort of assertive shout, sort of like, "Get out of the way!" As careening onto the sidewalk that the portal spit you out of, there seems to be a horse and cart. Aston Otto, simply enough, you float out of the path of it. Corn, you're able to narrowly sort of shift your body and flush against the wall. Sstar, you trot quite graciously and sort of jump back. Malunk, yeah, it hurts as the sort of cart wheels kind of like scrape against your back as you try to, as you try to like get out of the way. And unfortunately,
leave a mark.
Yeah, and it's going to leave a little more than a mark. Oh, that's not bad at all. That's 5 points of bludgeoning damage as the cart kind of veers back onto course. You see this sort of blonde-headed, like sallow-skinned, like pallid-faced, sort of whip around and say, "I'm so sorry about that, Master. You feeling all right?"
No, it's totally our fault. We shouldn't be taking up so much room on a perfectly good sidewalk when there's a street right beside it.
Well, there were a squirrel in the street, sir. I couldn't help but avoid it. And you see a little squirrel kind of scamper onto the cart. Each of you notes, just with your passive perceptions, this seems to be like a domain of the shepherd cleric. He's very low tech and kind of an idiot, but nonetheless, he kind of just waves and actually, you see him spring forth from his hand a sizable berry. Molunk, make an Arcana check.
Wait, look at 80-20, not 82. That would be 17.
He seems to be growing a good berry that he almost looks like he's going to hand to you, but then gives to the squirrel. As you see, there's a little bit of limp that plagues the little creature.
Esther kind of steps forward, and that black streak in her mane begins to kind of pulsate a bit and grow. Watch where you're going!
I didn't mean anything by it. Honest, I just... You see him kind of like gulp. Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
This is not going to be good, you guys.
That's a 7, you say?
11.
Oh, an 11, you say? Okay. He's very flustered about the whole thing, and he kind of like clutches at his robes and says, "All right, well, don't worry. I'll just be on my way then." And he cracks the whip of the horse that he's in control of, and starts to trot away. It is at this point that
out of here.
It is at this point that you note how busy the actual street is. You get the sense that maybe the sidewalk is usually, at least, the best place to stay.
Over to Wonk and cast a little spell on him.
Sure. What are you casting?
I'm casting Cure Wounds.
Wonderful. What level is that?
It's first level, just a little first.
Sure, why not? So, as you're rolling that, everybody else, I'd like to roll perception checks real quick.
16 for Aston Otto.
7.
11, you say?
Sir.
All right, and Molunk?
So 5 plus 9, so 14.
And what did you roll for the healing for Molunk, Sstar?
That's 8 points of healing.
Okay, so
Hey!
back to full.
Back to full. Perfect.
Ah,
So, the motif of like warmth and sunshine kind of emanates from your horn and heals the wound very judiciously. All damage is repaired, and Molunk, it's pleasant enough to where you don't have to worry about any sort of abrasive bruising or anything like that. But as each of you lay eyes across the street down the way a little bit, a different scene kind of plays out. You see, though a quaint historicity plagues the streets, you look and note an unpowered neon sign, partially broken, which reads Gertens Bakri. The less obliterated plastic sign which hangs from the door, or at least what's left of it, reads "We're closed" in elegant lettering in almost every language. A lone beholder stands at the front, tongue-in-cheek. They roll their eye stalks and sigh in a dejected manner. They've obviously had a rough morning. A member of the Nadul Protectorate examines the scene. You'll have to get closer to see what's happening exactly, but it looks like this donut run just got a little more complicated.
Aston Otto has been floating this entire time. Of course, just a warning, he's probably never going to be on the ground. But he's actually a couple of feet in the air. He's not just like hovering right over a sidewalk. And he looks down at the group and he kind of giggles. And as he giggles, he slowly disappears as he became ethereal. And he's like going over to the beholder, getting a little closer and see if he can see what's going on.
Okay, I'll say that this will be a stealth check. Just a straight stealth check, because if I'm not mistaken, a beholder has true sight, but I could be wrong. So go ahead and roll that for me, as each of you just see Aston Otto vanish into the wind.
You said stealth check. Don't screw me over. Yeah, that's gross. Stealth is no. Dex? No. What's stealth?
Stealth should be dexterity, if I'm.
It is. Yeah. Okay. 9.
9. Wow. Got a 10 on the dice. I'm sorry, dude. So as you sort of wonderfully make your way, Maestro has a little bit of fun, and as you turn ethereal and incorporeal, a sort of sour riff kind of comes across your ears. Songs of the universe being sung to you at all points in time, and then just sort of rocket in one ear and out the other. You let out a yelp in response, and an eye stalk from the beholder actually like looks at you very, very intently, but upon recognizing you as, well, something that it's not looking for, it kind of droops down and just becomes like, oh, sure. You actually note the beholder turn its entire body, its many stalks, eyeing you at one point in time. A very, very multi-fanged mouth kind of lulls open, a purplish tongue sort of with acrid green spittle lulling at the side, as one singular eye, red in color, looks intently at you. Okay,
Hey.
are you here to piss on my shop some more? What's wrong here, huh?
Nothing. You just seemed like you were going through it. I'm just seeing what was going on. Nothing, no.
That's bullshit. Like, what's with all the sneaking then, huh?
I wasn't sneaking. I don't know what you're talking about. And
Don't you start with me. How old is you anyway? You see actually a silver flash emanate from his eye as he casts a 9th level, a legend lore spell, and kind of looks to you. Oh, what? You think you're hot shit just because you got that asshole right next to you? Come on, man.
He does a flourish.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
When he says that asshole, he referring to me.
No, he's referring to Aston Otto. As far as you know, he's just staring at blank air.
Okay.
Aston Otto does a spin in the air actually as he becomes he becomes solid again. I can't speak.
Perfectly fine. He becomes corporeal.
Yeah, corporeal. I was like, corporeal, that's not the word. Yes, it is. And his hands are just on his shoulders, and you just get going. He's like, come on, guys. He's fine. He won't hurt us, hopefully.
Yeah. Better keep a nice attitude, and I won't hurt you. Promise. Little. You see him kind of foam at the mouth as the member of the Protectorate steps forward and says, hey. They're at a loss for words, and they actually start communicating to each other in deep speech. Anybody who comes along the scene can make a perception check if they want to see what's going on, if they speak the deep speech.
You have to cross the road to get there?
No crossing the road. It's just sort of on the sidewalk. And, yeah.
Okay. As seeing Aston Otto appear suddenly down the street in front of this closed cafe, I immediately looked to Korn and was like, is that stalky-eyed fella giving our friend a problem? We should probably go make sure everything's okay.
Better not
talking
be.
to the fella. Yeah, I better go have a word with him. I have a question though. What's the weather like? Because I'm a little sensitive to sunlight, you know.
Make a perception check.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah, go back here. Perception. dexterity, right?
No, perception would be wisdom.
Wisdom, sorry. Okay, that would be 3 total.
So time out. So did you
Rolled a 1.
What did you roll?
I
on
had
the
a
dice?
1 and a +2.
Well, even with the perception check, it's a natural 1. So, yeah, you're not really concerned about that. Like, it's obviously like at the back of your mind, but you don't feel your skin sizzling or anything like that. So it can't be that bad, right?
Right, I'm good. Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. So going along, you're able to be perfectly well. No sort of concerns crop up as Girantino and this officer have kind of a very brief conversation. Anybody wanted to find out what they were talking about, or not really?
I was actually, yes, I would, as we rush down to join Aston Otto and to make sure that he's not in trouble, I would definitely like to try to overhear any conversation that is, because Malank, even though he hasn't really spoken to anybody in the group yet, he has, I do have an instant attachment to them because we are a group. So just having a hard time expressing it.
Of course, this is just
and I'm going to come to the aid of my new friends too. So if they're getting trouble, you don't want to cross us. You don't want to mess with me.
Sure, absolutely. Sstar, is there anything you would like to add as you come across the scene?
I don't think she's really paying attention to what they're saying. She's in this like phase right now, so she's just kind of rushing up, trying to. Her little wings are kind of puffing out on her back, and she's just trying to look intimidating as she comes up.
So Malank, perception check for me as you come across. The beholder is kind of talking, and like there's a very dejected manner around them. Anybody can roll an insight check if they want to kind of parse what's happened, or a perception if you want to see an investigation if you want to find out what happened with the cafe.
For the perception check for overhearing conversation, that's 22.
Okay, Malank, very easily you know what Truth and Girantino. That's the name of this officer, Truth. She's a kind of human, or not a kind of human, a human woman. Olive skin, very tightly drawn back, black hair, aquiline nose, and kind of an intense sort of air around her. But as she's talking to Girantino, she's basically intoning, look, you know that this person had no involvement whatsoever with what transpired here. I mean, given the graffiti and everything, like, there's a clear pattern. I'm sure that they're just concerned citizens or something of the like. Just stop being so combative. I know you're in a bad mood. Girantino responds, no, I am in a fucking bad mood because my shop is destroyed. Like, come on. Like, can't a fella just be afforded a little bit of frustration with what the situation entails? Like, I have to close down. My ovens are missing. Like, and you hear these various complaints, but as you approach, he kind of quiets down and looks to each of you. It's like, oh, great, more. This has been fucking tastic. Yes. There's a internal frustration that is now very evident.
I rolled a 14 on investigation for the surroundings of the shop.
Okay. Anybody else?
How bad?
The same thing?
I rolled. You said inside, right?
Inside, if you wanted to tell the disposition of the beholder, yeah.
Oh well, it was inside, and I rolled 17.
Okay, and then Korn, did you?
I rolled 13 on inside.
Okay, so Korn, Aston Otto. Yeah, there's a lot of frustration pent up in this beholder. You get the sense that they just kind of came into work and they just found that their place had been destroyed. Like, there's a lot of hometown pride, and you actually note, Aston Otto specifically from your vantage point, that there actually seems to be like a stack of photos, like family photos. You see like him with a horse, and like that he seems to be very fond of, and two like adult beholders behind like a baby beholder, and you get the sense that that's their child, and like Girantino is like very, very upset. The pictures are fine, it's just the frames are kind of busted and all that other, like, you get, there's a lot of internal struggle. Corn, you sense that, you just don't get much of the specifics. Sstar, as you look, you actually see celestial ruins that are graffitied with, like, it's a cheap gold paint, but it does the job well enough. Like, it looks gold enough, but as you see it sort of written in this celestial hand, it's very, you would expect this kind of language in Infernal, like, rend the evil asunder, and like a lot of swear words, just a whole lot of swear words. This is some pent up frustration that's been taken out on this shop. And indeed, as you sort of look past, you note that the kitchen itself absolutely like fuckered. It looks like an explosion went off, or like something terrible transpired. As Truth kind of looks to you and notes your interest in the scene, she kind of steps in front and very severely, like, looks at you. There's a question on the tip of her tongue, but she doesn't ask before Garantino kind of interrupts and says, "Okay, well, concerned citizen brigade, where the hell were you when this was all going down, huh?"
Well, yeah, I gather you said I heard the officer say that your name is Garantino. This, I believe we were sent to your store just recently, to your grand shop, to procure snacks for a meeting back on another plane. Your foods are apparently quite famous and fabulous. Stop me if I'm on the wrong track.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage given the hesitation.
Oh,
And my very off-putting, intense aura. Okay. 15 with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, okay.
Yeah.
He kind of, me, what the fuck? Oh, shit. You're, the pact, I'm sorry. The Pactless group, right?
We're the Pactless patrons, yeah.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't realize. And you actually, Aston Otto, see a little bit of like, oh, so that's why you're here. Fine. And I won't pick on you anymore.
he
Garantino
just
kind of,
smiles.
Garantino like grits his many teeth, many rows of teeth, it should be said. And, look, I'd be ever so gracious if you'd just maybe take a rain check. It's got a little bit of a situation on our hands. And Truth, at this point, steps forward, and the uniform of the Protectorate is very very erudite and formal, but Truth speaks to you in a very matter-of-fact way. And as she looks around, she nods and says, yes, there just seems to have been some sort of, shall we say, unfortunate event visited upon this space. There are no further concerns to the community as far as we can tell. I would suggest that you either find a different establishment with which to purchase your wares, or at the very least give enough leeway for my fellow proctors to come and assess the scene. Yes, and she looks to you, Malunk.
Right, well, perhaps I know that the moderator is a very forgiving and understanding person, but I wouldn't want to disappoint her. Perhaps we have an hour to kill, but Mr. Bloodhome can be very intimidating, and Aston Otto is incredibly persuasive, and I believe Sstar, she has a bit of magic capability. Perhaps we could assist you in some way in finding out who did this and what happened, and we could perhaps get you back on schedule.
You see the blood sort of drain from her face as you suggest this. She immediately says, I perfectly understand that you are under the auspices of this moderator, and obviously that your concerns are being taken into consideration, but this is falling explicitly under protectorate business. I would appreciate that any extrajudicial volunteership be reserved for other cases.
She's a friend of mine. I consider her a friend, and I will not disappoint her.
I fully understand your concerns, but the
We're here to help. And we will.
Oh boy. Okay, that's make a persuasion check.
It's aggressive persuasion.
Nat 20.
Oh boy. You note that Truth, as much as Garantino is kind of under stress, and between this and that, there's an internal struggle that just sort of finally breaks within Truth, and she kind of like lowers her shoulders. Yeah, no, I perfectly believe it. No,
That is amazing.
Yeah, I perfectly believe it. Get the camera. But Truth just kind of breaks and says, as I understand it to be of pertinent importance that you receive refreshment from this particular establishment on behalf of your friend, I hereby, in my capacity as officer of the Protectorate, do hereby deputize you officially for the next 53 minutes. You see her kind of huff. As such, you will operate under my jurisdiction. Any and all consequences that you incur upon yourselves are yours and yours alone. Any extrajudicial activities you take beyond the bounds of the Protectorate are no reflection of my judge of character, nor of my ability to perform my duties. Do you all accept this deputization?
Can we get
Oh,
the
yeah, you betcha.
contract, please?
Can you? I'm sorry. Oh.
She stares at Aston Otto. This will be a verbal contract solely.
And wait. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure this is possible. Yes. Okay, yeah. He like waves his hand, and in his hand, using prestidigitation, it's like a recorder that seemingly is recording. I just say it one more time for me. Thank you.
I fully understand that you are concerned with the specifics of our arrangement, so I will say again, for the next period, 53 minutes, you will be deputized officially under the auspices of the Nadul Protectorate. Your actions will not be a reflection of my ability or my judge of character in terms of my service to said Protectorate. Any and all extrajudicial activity that you take will, however, be under my auspices. Are you gonna help or not? You see, like,
okay,
a
we got
flush
that. Click,
kind
and
of
it goes away.
Fine, fantastic, great, wonderful.
I just wanted to see if she'd do it.
Garantino kind of looks at you and like wanders over and like puts a reassuring, very slimy eye stalk on Truth's shoulder, like, and reassures her in deep speech. Anybody who speaks it can understand. I thank you for this, honestly. I'm sure they're going to be useful somehow. Like, I know a lot of these people from the support group. Like, they're just trying to help. It's all right. Truth tries to take all of this in stride and then immediately turns to each of you. Fine. Deputies.
Okay.
The situation is this. Obviously, Garantino has unfortunately suffered, shall we say, a incident of unfortunate nature. As some of you may be able to note, the graffiti that is currently on board the remnants of the establishment is celestial. I believe this to be a part of a larger and more disconcerting series of behavioral patterns demonstrated by a group that the Protectorate has been aware of for quite some time. They have never, at least to my knowledge, attempted something of such, well, grandeur or destructiveness. However, given Girantino's association with, I'm sorry to say, your group, it can be reasonably divined that perhaps these celestial individuals are acting out some form of vigilante justice in recompense for associations with entities that they deem to potentially be evil. I see among you specifically one that might be construed as such, and gives a pointed loop to Corn Bloodhome. Of course, these characterizations are woefully simplistic, and I'm sure do not capture the entire story. However, the group seems largely unconcerned with such distinctions. As such, well, what you can do, I suppose, without interfering with investigations as they stand currently, the ovens have been enchanted to be animated and escape, along with the coffee maker and a few other appliances. I am a decent investigator. However, the domain of Arcana and the like is very much rooted in my partner, who unfortunately is absent at this early in the morning. I put out a call to see if there was a subsequent investigator who might join me. They have yet to arrive. Ergo, if you have no other inclination beyond retrieving your refreshments, I would recommend you find the appliances and leave the proper work of determining the exact nature of the group and its members to the Protectorate. Proper. Is this satisfactory to each and every one of you? Verbal confirmation would be appreciated, as she glares at Aston Otto.
The recorder comes back. I'm sorry? Oh, never mind. Never mind. What were you saying, Esther?
Yes, ma'am. She salutes.
Oh, I'm good if they're good. Let's go do it. Let's go find some appliances.
But not to step on your toes or impose on your jurisdiction. If we happen to find the perpetrators and the appliances, well, not to do your job for you or anything, or to take anything away from you, because you're obviously very good at what you do, but I can't promise that Mr. Bloodhome and Aston Otto won't just kick their fucking asses.
Why didn't you? Why I can kick ass?
Oh, I'm not saying that you wouldn't too, but I mean, you have an air about you where, well, you're kind of regal and reserved, and if you found, and plus you and I have plans to go pants shopping in the Celestial later, and
I understand and appreciate your concern, Deputy.
But it's just these two. I don't know if they found somebody that wrecked this shop. I can't promise that they won't just, send them straight to hell or something. I know you want them for your jails, but these two, especially this Bloodhome guy. Don't look at his lunch pail.
I wasn't going to. I desperately okay.
But it's agreed. It's agreed. If we'll look for the appliances first.
And as deputies, you are not authorized to use lethal force against suspects.
Hold on. We never said lethal.
non-lethal means of
I'll just do what I need to do.
non-lethal means of subduing suspects would require you to identify the suspects themselves clearly. Ergo, I shall describe them and at least their patterns so that you may have a decent framework by which to judge. However, and I cannot stress this enough, any and all use of lethal force is prohibited by all deputies. They must be subdued or otherwise arrested. Do we have an absolute clear understanding of that?
We have an understanding, but I must warn you, music cannot be tied down. But I will do my best.
I am going to ignore that last statement and proceed to the description. Most likely, the group that we are looking for is given to when it comes to justice. Now, justice as a concept has obviously been ingrained very deeply within the psychology of this group. It is reasonable to assume that they may be of celestial origin, in which case that would fall directly under another division that I will have to coordinate separately during our investigations. However, given the graffiti patterns, we can assume them to be perhaps somehow affiliated with a formal education, at least acquainted with it. These attacks as well require some sort of coordination beyond simple smashing or grabbing, as well as arcane knowledge. These are students or studious types, at the very least, that are acting out fantasies of vigilante justice that may be spurred on by some authoritative figure or could be self-generated given the confines and their interpretations of those confines.
Aston Otto is slowly but surely starting to float upward as he's kind of just drowning the voice out.
Yeah. Beyond that, any specifics that I would be able to give will have to remain confidential, considering the sensitive nature of the actual suspect list that has been assembled. However, the moniker that they most commonly associate under can be seen here. And you note Sstar and anybody else who speaks Celestial, a graffiti pattern, a tag of some sort. That, well, it roughly translates as Lords of the Knife's Edge, like something similar to that. But yeah, it's just kind of what you can assume to be a tag for the group. In it, you actually see a demon skull that is being stabbed through the head, which, you know, it's a very, very crude demon skull and a very, very crude stabbing, but...
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
I actually kind of, I mean, Lords of the Knife's Edge, that would make a great band name, don't you guys think?
Lords of the Knife's Edge sounds like my kind of people.
They seem like little quarter notes trying to be half notes. I like them.
Garantino suddenly looks at all three of you like, what the fuck? These guys destroyed my shop. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Look, I could admire the craftsmanship maybe, but come the fuck on. Like, just get the fucking ovens. Like, you see him stomp up, and an eye stalk shoots at the framed photos as telekinetic power kind of drifts closer to it. You note, actually pulling off the side of the road, you hear a bit of a honk as a figure kind of drifts out. Another beholder that kind of waves the eye stalks over at Garantino. Garantino's basically scooping up his cards and going home. Truth kind of looks after them, and I'll notify them as soon as the ovens are back. I've got his phone number. Don't.
So, just really quickly, because you've talked a lot, and that's okay. We all like to talk. I love to talk. But we need to find the ovens, and we might find the kids, the quarter notes, the knife boys. Where do we start?
She just drifts a finger over to the destroyed kitchen and just sort of like, I don't know, that seems like a pretty good place to check. I mean, if you're so inclined, if you have the time, of course. I mean, considering you've got 45 more minutes of being a deputy under my auspices, it might be an investigative note that you might want to make. Like, she stills herself, and like, there's almost a sort of meditative, like, okay, just kind of come back to the forefront, count down from 10, up from 10, like, and then
as they are getting a little frazzled, if she is listening, what she hears is another thing that I totally made up myself. You know, I am the will of the maestro. And you hear it as he starts to cast Charm Person on her.
what's the DC on that?
19.
Okay, this will be a fun roll. Oh man,
What'd you get?
oh, just a 20.
Of course you did.
Natural. Not
Of course
natural.
you did. Of course.
Sorry. So, as you begin to cast this, Truth kind of takes a very pointed look at you. I understand your intent. I would like to advise you that tampering with the emotions of a member of the Protectorate is against the law. It's a class A misdemeanor. As you are a deputy, I will assume that given your obvious devotion to this investigation, you were merely ensuring that your superior officer's mental health was being taken care of and looked after.
Does that mean that if you're dating someone and they break your heart, that's a misdemeanor and you can like arrest them?
No, magically, by arcana, like by magical influence.
Hey, clarification. Thank you.
Aston Otto just blinks and smiles.
Also, there are separate fraternization. Just never mind.
Don't you worry. Music heals. I was just lending a proverbial hand. And as he says that, he twirls around and starts going towards the ruined kitchen.
Okay. So gliding across the devastation, the rest of you, are you following suit or what are you doing?
Yes, following very closely.
I'm helping out the best I can.
All right. Anybody so inclined? Make an Arcana check.
Or I'm good.
If you're not that good at Arcana, what you can do is help another character who is. So Korn, if you're a little bit hesitant about, whatnot, you can give advantage to Aston Otto, to Sstar, to Molunk, if you're so inclined.
If you do what you want. No, I would say I mean, your character doesn't know this, but I have a +7 to Arcana. But it's up to you. I rolled really well, so I can do whatever you want.
Okay. I shall defer to you then.
Okay. Well, who would you like to help throughout all this? Who do you think Korn would help? Aston Otto. Okay, so
I would help Aston Otto.
Aston Otto, you're taking the lead on this, so go ahead and roll with advantage. Fish for that 20, see what you get. Sstar, what'd you get?
Oh,
This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's great. It's amazing actually. My first roll was a 19. So it's 26. My second roll was a natural 1.
Oh, good. Dodged a bullet there. All right. So Sstar, what did you roll?
15.
15. Okay.
Wait, and I'm helping her.
Oh, so go ahead and roll with it.
She's rolling with advantage.
Yep.
Oh, another 15.
Hey.
Aww.
All right, so Aston Otto, Sstar, as you both survey the crime scene with the help of Korn and Molunk, respectively, you both understand a little bit of what's happened. The the ovens. That's the word. The ovens have been animated magically, along with a handful of other appliances. You actually note like boxes of like blenders and whatnot that have just suddenly absconded. Ostinato specifically, you understand this to be from arcane magic, not celestial magic, which is a little bit strange. If these are the Lords of the Knife's Edge and they use these celestial motifs, why would they then dip into arcane magic? It's you don't understand exactly what's going on, but as you sort of listen to the ambient notes of magic which are inherent to this space, you kind of breathe in, and the maestro gives you a little bit of a hint by throwing in a sort of counter harmony that clarifies the picture even more. Pretty much. You get the sense that this was some sort of wild magic sorcerer that was attached to the group. You know, it's very, very difficult to parse wild magic, but obviously whoever this was definitely someone of burgeoning power. It's not strong enough to be disconcerting because wild magic sorcerers at very higher levels are, oh boy, they're scary. But at the current place in time, they seem to be just sort of testing the boundaries of their power. You almost get the sense that this wasn't intentional. Like, as you see, there seems to have been like a crowbar and a few other like smashing implements. You get the sense that they were going to originally like wail on this, but you note scorch marks along the wall. Basically, between all four of you, you get the sense that somebody cast fireball in this very enclosed space. It blew out the wall, and a wild magic surge caused the rest of the appliances to just scuttle and scurry out. It's bonkers, but Ostinato, you get the sense that this is what has transpired, and which is more, you have an ear for what exactly you're looking for, as you note that the wild magic trails continue their melodious sonnet far and away from here.
Someone's an idiot, for lack of a better word. But more importantly, I'm pretty sure I know where the lost things are. So, we can either stay here or we can head over there.
You can really track them down?
Let's just say I can hear a steady beat. And it's a little chaotic, it's a little sporadic, but I definitely can figure out its pattern and I can figure out where it is.
Someone playing the spoons.
Well, then Ostinato, I think that we should defer to your musical radar if you would take the lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just to note, it's not really playing spoons. They're playing spoons, but they're playing them with sporks. So it's a little off.
Yeah, there's sort of like a boom, 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 that it doesn't sound right, but I mean, it works. You know, just gotta. It's sort of like when you get like noise groups like together that they like bang like a pickaxe against some metal, and suddenly that makes a beat.
Well, I've done that. That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, but. Ostinato, you can perfectly follow the trails as they go along. The rest of you can follow suit if you so desire, or you can take a last sort of investigation to see if you can divine any more information.
I'd like to look around the room a little bit more.
Okay, so investigation
before we
check.
take off.
Yeah, so Korn, an investigation check from you.
And I would as well like to inspect the fire blasts on the wall and where the appliances had been, and see if I can find like perhaps a direction like on the ground. I would like to investigate to see if there is any clear path that these rogue appliances might have taken, just to confirm.
Yeah. So that'll be an investigation check as well. Corn, what did you get?
Okay, I rolled a 6, and what am I adding to that, or am I adding to that?
Your intelligence.
Intelligence, got it. Oh, that's a -1.
Woohoo.
5.
Okay, Corn, you're in the spirit of a deputy. You're gonna take a look around. What are you gonna look
I'm
at?
gonna look
Okay.
around.
Yeah, just look around, and as you start sort of like,
I'm look,
yeah, just looking around. Malunk.
it's a mess in here. It's just a big mess.
Yeah, you get the urge to kind of clean it up a little bit, but
It's 18 plus 1.
okay, so
got us a 19.
In sort of the same direction that Aston Otto is wavering, you are able to note that there are physical markings along the ground that sort of give chase and leeway to the theory that Aston Otto had proposed. And you see physical demarcations as well of ovens. It's weird. You've never seen an oven like walk before, or well, maybe you have. It's just a very rare sight. But when you do see it, it's very interesting nonetheless. You actually note the absence of a few appliances who seem to have flown instead of walked.
Well, the drag marks along these hardwood floors seem to indicate that Aston Otto is on the right track, but I'm getting a real sort of Beauty and the Beast kind of vibe from this whole scenario. While we're looking for the appliances, be on the lookout for any talking candlesticks or clocks. We might get information. Who knows?
Right.
a very good comparison to draw, I guess, at this point in time. All right. Well, as you continue along, oof, boy. All right. As you traipse past the cacophony of ordeals, find your way across a field and onto a sort of nature trail that's opposite. It runs under a bridge, or by a bridge, but sometimes under it. It's kind of weird. Nadul is in that regard. But as you walk along this nature trail, you come across a portion of it which runs past the entrance of a small grotto, a word you never really thought you'd get the chance to properly use in Nadul, given that it's usually so urban and shockingly unmystical. Per the directions that you have defined, if you simply walk across the entrance to this rather unremarkable cave and continue along the trail for Aston Otto, between you and Malunk, you figure about another 5 minutes. The oven should be situated nearby, or at least within walking distance. Everybody ready to cross?
Aston Otto looks back at the other three, and that weird Cheshire grin forms as he turns ethereal. But like he's like 90% ethereal, not like completely. So you can like probably like see like a shift where he is if you're looking. Just enough for these three to know that he's not far.
Oh, it does make me slightly nervous when he keeps doing that. I do hope he's able to come back each time.
I hope so too. I gotta keep an eye on him. It's hard to see amongst the clouds.
Aston Otto, we're following your lead.
He also cast prestidigitation to you see like small like floating like quarter notes and half notes and eighth notes, very soft, like silvery in form, almost like a path. They're coming right behind him. So follow the path of shiny notes.
And as you traipse along this path, I need you all to roll wisdom checks or wisdom saving throws, and we will take a little bit of a break.
Is this magical?
Yeah, it's magical.
Okay, I need to know.
All right.
I got.
So-
Oops. I got 11 plus 2. I got 13.
Gross. 15.
Alrighty. We're going to take a little bit of a break now, just so we can freshen up just that tiny bit as we head into the final stretch. You'll find out why you rolled that and why it was so important very, very soon. Bye-bye. Alrighty. Thank you everybody so much for sticking with us as we took just that little bit of a breather, because water's very important. Hope that you got up, that you stretched, that you got yourself comfortable, that you may be moseyed on over to the Pactless Patron Kickstarter and gave them a look. All these fine folks being part of that cast and production team. Maybe, send a couple bucks their way just to get in on all the hubbub. Follow them on Twitter at Pactless Patrons. Where all fine tweets are sold. I don't know.
And if we could too, there are still some. There is a Patreon if you would like to go one step further in your support of this artistic endeavor. There are some fantastic benefits to joining us on Patreon as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very, very astute point. Thank you so
there
much.
will be behind the scenes looks that are not available even with the Kickstarter, but that you will discover that there are different levels in every direction that you can support, and different access to behind the scenes and being able to connect with the incredible creative cast and crew, artists, and everyone who's come together on this project.
Right. And, even if you're not in a position where you can financially support, spreading the word, keeping the stream alive, that's all that is sometimes necessary. It's just as important. And we thank you. Thank you all so much, everybody who's tuning in. This is the Nerdsmith Twitch channel. If you want to go ahead, chuck us a follow, chuck us a subscription, or better yet, if you've got the means, go ahead and mosey on over to our, I believe it's nerdsmith.org/donate. No, not donate. /support. It'll be in chat. /support. That was it. And you can find out how you can support content like this, as well as a host of other very wonderful podcasts and programs that we've been involved in. Nerdsmith being a sponsor, weird thing with Pactless Patrons. It's just a delight, and having y'all aboard is just But before the break, after coming across a completely innocuous and not at all suspicious cave, I asked you all to roll a wisdom saving throw. Now, Aston Otto, you were given advantage. What did you roll? Muted there. Go ahead.
Oh no.
I'm back.
Oh, no.
I'm back.
You're back.
As I was saying, with advantage, I was still, unfortunately, I only got a 15.
Okay. Interesting. Corn?
Hang on. I had it and I lost it. Hold on. To me. Give me 1 second here, because I just closed down a window I should not have just closed down.
Oh no, I know the feeling. So, Sstar, what did you roll?
Okay.
A 27? Oh wow. All right. Molong?
That would be a 26.
Oh wow.
Okay. And we're back. Okay, here we go. And we got it. And mine was 13.
13. All right. That's interesting. Okay, yeah. With nary an issue or worry.
Why is it interesting? Okay.
Just hang on. It's all right. With nary an issue or worry, Sstar, Malunk, you make it past the completely inconspicuous and innocuous grotto. A slight headache kind of plagues you for a moment, but you're in decent shape. Your fellow Pactless patron, Aston Otto, and your fellow Pactless patron, Corn, however... Well, let's check in on them. Aston Otto, Corn, With nary an issue or worry, you make it past the completely inconspicuous and innocuous grotto. A slight headache plagues you for a moment, but you're in decent shape. After taking a deep breath, you come across a nature trail which runs past the entrance of a small grotto, a word that you never thought you'd have the chance to properly use in Nadul, given that it's usually so urban and shockingly unmystical. Per your own directions, from Girantinos, if you simply walk across the entrance to this rather unremarkable cave and continue along the trail for another 5 minutes, the ovens should be maybe a few blocks away. You ready to cross?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks safe enough. Yeah, let's go.
Sure. With nary an issue or worry, you make it past the completely inconspicuous and innocuous grotto. A slight headache plagues you for a moment, but you're in decent shape. After taking a deep breath, you come across a nature trail which runs past the entrance of a small grotto. For whatever reason, Sstar, Molunk, your fellow Pactless patrons seem frozen in place.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
And this is completely just mechanics.
Sure.
Is this effect on the ethereal plane or no? Because technically, Aston Otto is on the ethereal plane right now.
Given the complexity of the magics, it is on every plane simultaneously.
Got it. Sounds good. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's.
So are we frozen in place, or we have this incredible feeling of deja vu?
Okay, so what's happening? Molunk Sstar, akin to a tired parent who mindlessly ascends a staircase after getting the affairs of their house in order, both Korn specifically, stares ahead and lifts his legs as if they would move had they sense or sensibility to do so. You don't exactly see Aston Otto's state of affairs, considering Aston Otto's ethereal at the moment, but I would like you all.
Does my tremor sense feel anything right now?
Make a perception check with advantage, specifically for tremor sense.
Please give me that again. 28.
Okay. It does pick up something coming from the seemingly inconspicuous and innocuous grotto. It lifts, however, off the ground, and you lose sense of it. The rest of you make just regular perception checks.
No, that's cocked. That's worse. Perception 16.
Okay. Korn?
Oops. +9. Hang on. 19.
Ooh, very nice. A star.
Special one.
Ooh.
I'm just
okay.
waving my hoof in front of Korn's face to see if he.
Yeah. It's. Okay. As you sort of try to figure out what's happening, Molunk, you note that the tremor sense has vanished and actually completely disappeared. Aston Otto, you feel a presence that is right next to you. Korn, you even see the sort of note trails that Aston Otto has left now being joined by vapor and sort of waves. At least in the state that you're currently in, you could communicate this to a star if you succeeded on a wisdom saving throw right now.
Here we go. And roll. Oh, that's not a good start. 5.
Ooh, yeah, no. Sstar, Korn is just mindlessly plugging away at the Stairmaster. Like, just nothing going on. Like, yeah. Aston Otto.
Yes.
As you continue along the path, once more, a whistle comes from the mouth of the cave. Ooh, tough luck. A calm but sympathetic voice calls out as the head of a lion emerges from the darkness, carried by a form most majestic, all hoisted aloft by 2 glorious wings. The Sphinx lands in front of you and plants themselves within the path. I hope you and your friends know how this goes down. can
You're
guess you.
talking to someone who understands the rhythm and tricks of all music, and music doesn't have to be as musical as you think. Yes, I know what's going on. What's going on? Help.
I guess you can. I guess you've seen a few of my kind, given the power you carry in that form of yours.
Yes, but I don't have to say I like it.
And I don't say I have to like your patron.
Well, to be blunt, he doesn't care about what you like. He's much more grand in the grand scheme of things. So, get on with it. What do I need to do?
Sure. Well, I'd hardly be sporting if I made you answer all of these by yourself. Do you think you'll need help with your friends?
Depends.
What say we take this into the material plane? Get everybody on the level.
He just like grins, but it's like I hate you, and if I could stab you with my mind, I would.
Total like communication array just set between the two of y'all. That is the mood.
Yes, and he shifts back into a corporeal form.
Sstar, Molonk, as if by magic, a sphinx appears sitting next to, sitting between the both of you. Korn, you suddenly snap out of your haze and are greeted with this very unfamiliar sight. Okay, I assume that each of you are smart enough, or at least powerful enough, to understand what's going on. Look, I just got my permits for riddle smithing and whatnot actually all approved. I would just... You're adventurers, right? And he kind of looks to each of you.
Yeah.
No,
We're deputies.
I'm not an adventurer. I'm an ancient eldritch soul. I'm an ancient eldritch power looking for souls to consume. But I'll get on that right after we procure lunch for our group.
The Sphinx's eyes narrow and kind of like tilt the head like, oh, okay, gonna be honest, not the most noble quest I've heard of, but still a quest, technically. And since I have been permitted by the city of Nadul to occupy this grotto, you do understand that by tarrying here on your quest, you have to solve a little bit of, a riddle, that's just the sort of thing that happens. Otherwise, you face perilous death.
That sounds terrible.
Oh no, it really is. Yeah,
No, perilous death. No, riddles are actually quite fun.
Oh, thank God. I at least have one of you. You see the Sphinx kind of like motion to Molonk. I like the cut of this guy's jib.
Will it take long? We've only got about 42 minutes left as deputies.
Oh, fuck. Four people. I usually do it with the number of people -1, so like 3 riddles. Is that okay?
Let's just get on with it, please.
Okay, hold up. Like, just sorry. Sort of new to this whole thing. Buffess, by the way. He just kind of looks around and like nods.
Sstar, nice to meet you. I extend a hoof.
Oh, Paul kind of takes your hand very joyously.
Doing a great job, by the way. Very intimidating. Love how you just appeared.
Oh, thank you. Hope I don't have to kill you in like the next 10 minutes.
Hope so too.
Good. All right. Hang on. You see his eyes kind of roll back into his head as sort of this blue light emerges from it. He seems to be deciding upon the riddles that he is going to give you.
And while he's deciding, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go. You go.
As he's deciding on his riddles, as his mind starts turning, I lean over to Korn and whisper, it's like, did that thing just threaten Sstar? Did he say he might kill her in the next 10 minutes?
He said he might kill all of us. Now, what would be stopping me from killing him right now?
From the fact that I can hear you very perfectly and clearly, and from the fact that I hope that you're honorable enough.
I did use my outside voice. I should have been using my inside voice.
It's okay. It happens a lot. These discussions just kind of come with the territory of being a riddle master. Look, I know. You see his pupils snap back into focus and look to each of you. I know. I just don't know how not to be threatening. It's this whole thing. I'm working on it. Look, just. You see him kind of like still his mind. I'd like you all to roll an insight check.
Natural 1.
Aston Otto, you could care less about what this fucker is thinking. Like, you do not. There is no force in any of the Feywilds, in heavens or hells, that could compel you to give a crap about this stupid Sphinx and his stupid riddles. Molonk?
18.
Okay. Corn? 7. And Sstar?
Natural 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Molonk. Yeah. Corn, he's very congenial. Like, you kind of vibe with him. Like, it's like, okay, well, he's got like a little thing that he's trying to get going on, and like, this is just his job, you know. It's something that he's got to do. Molonk, you sense there's something a little bit deeper, that he's very much this all powerful and like interdimensional traveler who's now just kind of stuck in the duel, kind of maybe in a rough spot. Like, even though he's very like candid in his communication, you get a sense that's more born from the fact that he's out of practice and that he's not actually that all that in it. Like, his heart's kind of wandering. Sstar, you sympathize perfectly with this individual. You get the sense that they tried to do something that was not riddle mastering. And actually, as you cast an eye to the grotto, you find a bunch of like treasures and whatnot, but scattered amidst them is a single pamphlet for the Pactless Patron Support Group. It seems that this Sphinx might have been interested in maybe joining at some point or another the entire, support group, because scattered amidst the artifacts, you also note there are a few like scant prayers that are listed, and as you can read every language, it's prayers to Bafes and for insight and knowledge and whatnot. All of them seem to be out of date, like ancient almost. So you get a sense that he's trying to sort of make it on his own and strike out and go back to his roots when he was a young all-knowing being, and he's taking it kind of hard, but he's trying to sort of make the best of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snakes. Oh.
Yeah. So Bafes kind of like sighs and says, "Okay. All right, so, I've got the 3 in my head. Any further ado, I suppose, huh?
Aston Otto, his eyes are still white, but they start to glow for a second. And Sstar only hears 3 notes, very soothing. Almost like, think like a wind chime, but louder, and more powerful. And I didn't feel like singing, so you're not gonna get that. He just gave you basically bardic inspiration. So you can add a D12 to whatever check, attack, or saving throw you need.
That'll be fun. All right. Bafes kind of like looks. Okay. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question real quick before we start this.
Sure. Yeah.
Opposed would you be for switching the roles this time around. Can you riddle me something?
What? See, like kind of a. This has not been an offer that I've ever received. What? He kind of stops. What are you talking about?
You lonely?
What? Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Natural 20.
Ah! It's a disarming question. And you sort of see his shoulder slump and sorry about that. Wow. I'm all right. It's just something you haven't done in a while. It's my folks used to tell me it was like riding a bike. I just don't. I'd rather ride a bike than try to keep doing this. Like honestly, but to answer your question, which distinctly not a riddle, I'm okay. I'm not okay, but I'm getting. You see actually just like the beginnings of tears to kind of weep around his eyes, but he shakes his head. I'll be okay. I'm not okay right now, but I'll be. Why do you ask? He just kind of like gets on the level, like he's about as tall as you when he's like all fours, like planted on the ground, and he like tilts his head.
Well, I'm wondering if doing this, a problem of you being lonely, is this really what you want to do? You said you'd sitting in this grotto asking questions to any random person who shows up and start doing something that you love.
I would love to. Like and it's not. I should say it's not. It's really just adventurers, which technically y'all fall under because I know that you're pursuing those. Oh fuck! What do they call themselves?
Lords of the Knife's Edge.
Sciences.
Them, yeah, the Lords of the Knife's Edge. Like, I mean, I figured you said you were deputies and like, yeah, pretty smart for. Look, yes, I know I can do whatever I want to. I just don't feel like I can do it right now because I just lost a lot of support recently.
Hey, buddy, you can do whatever you want. If you're really looking for, if you need, well, help or guidance, well, you should join our group.
Aston Otto gets like floats and gets like steps back. He's
not as a deputy. Our support group. I mean, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time. It's like,
Yeah, that's. I got the pamphlet.
Why haven't you made a move yet then?
Look, man, I was just really wanting to focus on one thing at a time. I was really focused on the permit, and the protectorate was riding my ass for a long time. Like,
if the one thing you're focusing on isn't fulfilling, you gotta focus on what's gonna make you happy, buddy.
Put a hoof on his shoulder.
You can't spend eternity trying to make everybody else happy, wondering what's gonna be the most fulfilling for you.
I mean,
eternity's a long time to spend just searching and waiting. If you're gonna do it, you should do it now.
Make a persuasion check.
I never get 2 in one session. Nat 20.
Damn. Okay, so
Wow.
you've revolutionized the Sphinx's worldview. So as 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 Buffess kind of like takes in what you're saying, it's like, well, you know, when you're when you're 1900 years old, you know, you just kind of they tell you to like find a job and like find some patrons, and I had some, I had a lot, and I just I tried to focus on too many things at once, and there was just this thing where I didn't know what I really wanted to do. I thought I did, and I really don't mean to bother. I'll just keep it brief.
Look, hey, you've had some patrons, and you fell, you maybe you spread yourself a little thin. We've all been there. You've been there. Look, I know what you're going through. It's hard for me to admit this outside of the group, but I've never had a patron. I mean, look at me. I'm a fleshy mound of mouths. I mean, what patron would ever want me?
Well,
So-
hey, look, I had a friend who was just sort of like you. He was this big, like, ring of eyes, like literally just like a ring of like skeletons and whatnot, just filled to the brim with eyes. It happens, man. It happens, friend. Look. Okay, look, I know I'm not on the best terms with the maestro, okay? And he looks up to Aston Otto. But a lot of that was just born from wanting the music to kind of stop. I've traveled the multiverse a long time, and like, it's not that I don't appreciate the work that y'all do. I really do, honestly. But just I don't know. I wish I could get some earphones sometimes. Sorry. You have your own beautiful like melodies and whatnot, but like, it's sort of, why can't I make my own? And he kind of stops at that revelation and like draws in on himself, very very embarrassed.
Aston Otto looks down at Sstar and looks down at Wolong and even looks at Korn, and like the loudest sigh just comes out of his mouth, and it's still very musical, very surprising, very comforting, but still like it's a sigh. And he floats down. To be frank, I don't like you. But
Perfectly valid.
you're looking at the wrong place. You're looking for the wrong thing. Music doesn't mean it's this sound of glorious beauty. It isn't an orchestra. It doesn't have to be rhythm. Music is life itself, and you have the music within you. You just don't realize it. These riddles, the cadence, just how you give them, and he stops. Trust yourself, you furry bastard.
Okay.
You're not going to be what I am. You're definitely not going to be what the maestro is. But you don't have to be us to still be worth something. And that's about all you're getting from me, because I'm really over. He just flies off and gets like in the back and gets like,
Like, okay, fine, yeah, I know we've got some, whatever. Buffett kind of like paws at the ground and looks to Sstar. Thanks. I didn't know I needed that.
Most of us don't think we do.
I'll I'll give you all an easy one. I'll just drop it down to one, and I'll make it real easy. Because it's one of these things where it's a cosmic law where I have to give you a riddle or, perilous something or other.
Yeah, shoot. We're ready.
Okay. You okay with that, big guy? Sorry for the. And he points to Corn and like sort of raises a paw. Sorry about the whole like. I know I was being clever. It's like that. I really like illusions. I'm not gonna lie. But I just look. Sorry about that.
Hey. You have to do what you have to do. I have to do what I do with, and
What? Well,
murdering countless mortals and taking their blood. That's what I do. It's you cast spells. I don't hold no grudges. No.
you see his eyes kind of widen and like, good. Yeah. No, that's great. That's great to hear. Yeah. What we do. Okay. Look. Here. He just kind of like nestles down, like invites all of you to join in with him in sort of a.
But yeah.
Okay. Simple, very simple. Oh, okay. He looks final. One man drinks, another grieves, bane of king and boon of thieves. What am I?
Get to discuss.
Discuss. Take as long as you want. He smiles.
One man drinks, the other man grieves. Bane of. Can you repeat that? I should know music, but there's no sheet music for riddles, so.
Sure. One man drinks, another grieves, bane of king and boon of thieves. What am I?
I think it might be poison?
Is poison the bane of thieves? I mean, the bane of kings?
Of kings. One man drinks, another grieves.
Well, I guess the person who was drinking it would be the one dead.
Yes.
Maybe not.
Bane of kings and boon of thieves.
Everybody roll an intelligence check, just straight up.
What?
I am not good at riddles. 16.
I think we might have lost Molonk.
Oh!
I see him. I got 8.
Corn, you'd think Sstar was on the right track. Aston Otto, what did you get?
16.
Yeah, poison. It's definitely, probably poison. Probably poison. Definitely poison. Sstar?
29.
Yeah,
Okay, 22.
Yep, we got you, Molonk.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Sstar, you were right.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
you see Buffess kind of like, oh yeah, no, got it in one. Yeah, it was really, really hard there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we just everyone included and discussing and yeah.
Yeah.
We knew it. We all knew it, right? We all knew it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
Totally.
I totally knew it.
It makes sense. You go from A to C.
I have
and F.
I have to be completely honest here. You did your job really well because I don't consort with thieves, and well, you had me stumped.
Oh, well,
These guys are way smarter than I am. But
hey,
thanks for including me.
Well, hey, don't feel bad. Like even the simple stuff, people trip up all the time. Like I had one. What disappears the moment you say it?
It.
No, but silence disappears the moment you say silence. It just.
But technically, you said what disappears the moment you say it, and then it is gone.
Well, yes, but I'm talking about. Hangs his head. Just. All right. Look. How many minutes did you say you had? And he kind of looks at his watch.
You weren't even our mission. We're looking for appliances and kids who like knives or something.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
That is the Lords of the Knives. I wrote it down.
Proud of you.
Lord,
I'm very proud of you.
yeah. No, I saw a bunch of like ovens and shit like a couple hours ago. Like traipsed past here, I had to actually clean up the nature trail, which was kind of a pain. You know, it's my lair, but you know, can't trap inanimate objects in an illusion. Never mind. Look, okay. He kind of pauses for a moment. Typically, I'm supposed to give a treasure whenever somebody gets the riddle right.
Oh, we'll take the treasure. Yes.
You like treasure? Treasure's nice.
Yeah, no, I can certainly attest. Tell you what, because I know I'm not going to get the motivation otherwise, I'll bring it to the next support group meeting.
Your presence will be the present alone.
That's not true, but we'll see you there.
Oh, Sstar, that was very, very polite.
As my word of honor, I shall make sure that you are well compensated. And
Could you bring
rewarded.
some snacks too? Because we were kind of missing snacks this time.
Oh shit, really? Oh, yeah. No, I can. I know a couple of places. There's actually a baklava place that's not too far from here that I.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
that nice light pastry. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I think I'm done for riddling today. So
Well, you know, to be fair, we were done since we got here, so we need to go.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sure. Your presence will be missed.
Thank you.
Give
So-
him a kiss on the.
So, but hey, you said you saw appliances come through here earlier. Well, could you point us in the direction? Maybe.
Yeah. You see that big rock over there? The one with like the crystalline veins that are kind of shooting out of it?
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, if you go left of that and about 2 blocks down, there's an industrial lot where I think they've just been sort of like tearing the place to shit. I've just heard a lot of commotion over there. It's kind of quieted down within the past like 30 minutes, but I think it's probably around there.
Malong, I just take off in that direction, just begin running as at my my very crappy top speed. I give my this
speed.
blob of mouse just starts and you hear his fleshy parts slapping against the path towards
Thank you
this
for that.
industrial.
Yeah, I needed
like
that.
like when you cut a lime in half and start smacking it together.
Oh, stop.
What am a pile of flesh?
Anybody looking to do some Foley work at home? Yeah. But Buffett kind of takes his own wings kind of back and actually calls out to Sstar in Celestial, kind of, whatnot. I hope to see you there. I'll say hi, or at least try to. Be safe.
Well, see you there. And I follow high speed.
Aston Otto watches her go, looks back at Buffett, and he just and then just bolts off.
Just in response. It's weird to see a lion paw flick you off, but yeah. As you come across the industrial lot that was perfectly described by the all-knowing Buffett, it's not an unfamiliar scene. It's okay. The term teenage wasteland gets sort of thrown around a lot. It really applies here as you see like just shitty teens from like all sorts of like walks of life. You see some like teenage devils kind of like hanging out in their own sort of corner and just standing around a burning pit. It's not even a barrel, it's just a pit that they've opened up from hell. You see a couple of others, like a couple of humans and gnomes and dwarves kind of congregating against some dragonborn, some chromatic, some metallic, that are not on the easiest of terms. But on the far end, past all of these, well, I shouldn't say universally shitty teens. Like some of them seem to be decent. Like it's just after school and whatnot, or what you can assume to be after school. Doesn't matter. Anyway, as you sort of look across, you note a gang of angels, angel teens, that seem to be kicking around some appliances or throwing them around. It's they take a sort of glee to the to their task. These teen angels. Thank you, Angela, for that one. And so, yeah, it's just as you, Molunk, begin sort of traipsing, like running
Slurping.
full speed.
Lumping.
I'd like you to roll an intimidation check. I know this isn't your intention, but you know, it's a spectacle of it.
Do I have any kind of intimidation bonus? Oh, okay. Then that'd be 12.
You know, it's still decent enough. A couple of the humanoid, you know, dwarf, gnome, elf, half-elf, human entities kind of like look to you and all universally scream, like in their various tongues, like Sstar, you hear from a distance, what the fuck? Like just this cacophony of noise as immediately these teens scatter. The ones that were hanging out by the hell pit don't seem mildly perturbed. Like they're just kind of looking like, oh hey, that's cool. Go back to warming themselves over this screaming pit of fire. The teen angels don't seem to be
Seen it
paying.
before.
Yeah, they've seen it before. They've seen worse, probably. But as you look across at the teen angels, you see one of them carries sort of what seems to be a gnarled staff, the other a pair of scimitars, and another who, excuse me, due to their form, all of them are kind of agender, not really able to be parsed from one or the other. Their celestial armament and like formless light bodies are covered by this very, very thick, certifiably uncomfortable leather jacket, bearing the same symbol that you saw of the demon's head being stabbed through the skull. The devils and whatnot don't really mind because they're on the opposite end of the blood war. So, but at the present moment, as you scurry along, Molunk, Sstar, Korn, Aston Otto, you catch up and survey the same scene.
Aston Otto, isn't that the same symbol that was on their jackets that we saw on the outside of the building?
It is.
Are those
Well,
appliances the same?
I have not seen them. Do I still hear the music that I heard before?
Yep.
Yep.
Exact music.
This is it. This is definitely it.
Okay. How do you suggest we proceed from here? Do we just go and take this stuff? Do you want to try to reason with them?
I think I need to go talk to these fellers before we have to, before things get any worse.
I respect your wishes, Bloodhome. But I have to say, a giant, blood-hungry werewolf being walking up to the cast of Grease Gone Dark probably won't be the most effective means of
Has a very good dad face. He has a very good disappointed dad face.
I don't think they care about being disappointed. They did ruin the shop of a beholder. But go for it. And you know, if something goes wrong, we'll just destroy it.
I could, yeah. I mean, I got other options, you know, aside from talking. But I like to talk first, and then you know, if we need to go, you need to bring out the big guns. We can do that.
And
For
how
it,
about
Corn.
this? How big is Corn? How tall is Corn?
How big and tall is Korn?
Big and tall is Corn. He's big and he's tall. I don't have
Very good.
dimensions,
Well,
but he's big.
and he's tall. So
Probably like akin to like a Goliath, maybe taller.
like something like
Yes.
that. Like, it's,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. Then he goes, "Don't worry, I'm light." And he goes ethereal and like tries to like sit on Corn's shoulder. He's floating, but he's sitting on Corn's shoulder. So he's basically another eye just in case something pops off.
Okay.
Nice.
He got to
Malonk,
be
I
very
think
light.
we
He's
should-
a fey little boy. Continue.
Malonk, I think we should just like sit here and look chill and cool.
How far away are these creatures? Are these angels? In that,
Like it's 120 feet ish. Like
okay, I think we should like split the distance. Maybe we should be a little closer just in case they need backup. I mean, I'm sure they can handle it. I mean, I have faith in their abilities, but I don't want to be too far away if a fight breaks out.
Or we can be like
I'm
the really cool bodyguards.
Yeah. So what do you say we keep until we get up like within 30 feet of them at least, and that way we can hang back a little bit, and because they're going to be intimidating enough. But yeah, we can just kind of be there as backup.
Sure, entourage. I got this.
Okay.
That's right. I can go in there. I can handle it, but I've got my friends backing me up. So I'm going to walk down and I'm going to talk to them.
okay.
Say, hey fellers, some mighty nice appliances you got there. What's going on?
Okay.
Okay. That's
Oh, what an opening line.
yeah. Okay. Corn, roll an intimidation check.
Okay.
I'd like to major image, because it's the only thing I have, a cigarette in my mouth. And start smoking it.
You actually hear from one of the devils who have actually moved the flame pit to follow you. That they actually sort of snap their fingers and like a small bit of flame comes out.
Okay. I rolled a 10. What do I get out of that? Or do I get out of that?
Intimidation, that would be charisma.
That would be +4 then, 14.
Okay, they all stop dead in their tracks. The appliances themselves begin to sort of wander around them. The one with the gnarled staff kind of looks over and doesn't blink because there's no eyes or face. It's just sort of a formless thing of light. Like if you know, like the angels from Diablo, like that's sort of the aesthetic that they've got going on at the moment. The hood of this, the helmet of the creature kind of tilts. Yeah, man. Made him myself. Yeah.
Made him.
Yeah.
Really, I've always been fascinated in that type of metalwork. How'd you make them?
Real hard, man. Real long. Yeah, man. Like it just yeah. The one holding the scimitars kind of like looks over to the one at the gnarled staff and shakes their head. God. Look, did Girantino send you or whatever?
Well, yeah, he might have done that. It's just coincidences and all. Those there, appliances and things you got there, they look like they belong, back in Nadu City with, in a little eatery that we were at. Just wondering if you knew anything about that.
Well, yeah, we know plenty about that. And wait a minute. You actually see a sort of light pulsate. This is a casting of, I believe, Detect Good and Evil.
Oh.
Who among these patrons is evil? What is your alignment?
It's our alignment.
Your alignment.
It's not not on my character.
Oh no!
Apparently I'm out of alignment. I don't know.
All right. So what would your alignment be as your character? Do you think?
I'm thinking chaotic good, maybe?
Okay, for Sstar. Molonk, what do you think would be your alignment?
That is a good question.
We shall circle back. Corn.
Yes, please do.
Well, I mean, my whole family is werewolves and vampires. So draw your conclusions there.
Given your disposition, I would say lawful neutral. Like, it's not good what you do, but you do it because it's the law of the land.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
It's what you do.
It's family
Aston Otto?
tradition.
Aston Otto?
Chaotic neutral,
Okay.
for sure.
Molonk. For the time being, I suppose. Yeah.
Neutral evil.
Ooh, no. As this rings out, you note the hood kind of crests around to you, Molonk. And the scimitar-wielding angel kind of like kicks back and actually kicks a blender. It kind of tumbles forward ridiculously. Yeah. So, at least one of you is evil. So, far as I can tell, we did okay. I mean, justice is supposed to be dispensed to the evil. Like, that's what happens. And he calls out to the devils who kind of like all flip him off.
It's quite judgmental of you. We just met.
Well, no, you're fine. It's the other one, the mouths dude.
Take that back.
What? I'm just calling it like it is, man.
Look, we took on we took on the jobs of deputies, you see, to bring these appliances back, and we're not supposed to kill anybody in the process or use any kind of deadly force, but look, I'm hungry and my friends want lunch. You can either give them to us or we'll take them by any means necessary.
At this point, I think Korn maybe he takes the cue and steps a little bit closer. Doesn't do anything yet, but he's the intimidation factor is starting to build there. So he's going to back up Moloch.
Intimidation check with advantage.
Okay.
Come on, Malunk.
$19.
Oh, like the DC was ever going to be that high. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I rolled a 20.
The third of their party, something just doesn't seem to be there anymore. Weirdest thing, yeah. The one with the gnarled staff kind of like looks to the one with the scimitars. The one with the scimitars looks to the ones with the staff. You're evil. Like, we're supposed to fight evil. Like, that's what we do. We're angels. Like, we're celestial beings that are composed of light and energy and
that goes around stealing from good, honest, one-eyed, eye-stalk things.
Well,
I mean,
look,
Garantino's been feeding my friends for a long time, and he should be able to keep doing it.
Well,
I mean, when do angels Steal from beholders.
We don't steal. We weren't stealing. We just wanted to rob the means of supplying evil with.
Okay.
He kind of starts whispering to himself in Celestial, like,
Donuts?
Sstar.
You're upset at donuts?
Well, it's a form of sustenance.
You ever had one of their donuts?
We don't have to. We're.
You're supposed to punish evil?
Yeah.
You punish evil and you pick on.
Come
you pick
and
on
get it.
One restaurant. I don't know. I don't get this.
Meanwhile, Aston Otto, while they're kind of preoccupied, he's floated off of corn. He's still ethereal, and he's actually looking at the appliances, and they're all still moving, right?
Yeah.
Then one by one, he's been dispelling magic to make them stop.
As that starts happening, you know, the wild magic sorcerer is like, oh, no. And like, unfortunately, this was a wild magic surge that created these beings. So it's like, he doesn't know any animatronic magics. So this starts happening. He's like, just shrugging as the one with the scimitar like points it to you, Molunk, and then immediately sheathes it. Fine. Whatever. Just. And you actually see him strike out at the ground. It cracks with a radiant beam of light as this entity kind of like. There's a pent-up frustration that needs to get out, and so it doesn't need to be here. And glorious sort of angelic wings extend from the back, tearing through the what is now revealed to be pleather jacket, and flapping away, absconding similarly. Absconding in similar fashion, the wild magic sorcerer as well kind of like hobbles off, like staff in hand, like trying not to get in further trouble, and then running away.
Before he gets too far, Aston Otto's actually following him, stops right in front of him, and just goes boo as he becomes corporeal again.
That's good.
Immediately just bolts the other direction.
Nice.
And I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun. He actually goes and casts Charm Person on him.
What's the DC on that?
19.
18.
Oh, that's a 9 plus not enough. So
He goes, come here, and like very melodically, he's like, come over here, let's talk.
no, I really gotta go. Look, I didn't mean any trouble or anything. Look, it's just
No,
something that we wanted to do.
You're not in trouble. Yes, let's just talk. Come on, don't be shy.
You see him get back close to you.
Now, what is a wild magic? I'm assuming that's what this is. This is way out of your range. What are you doing with a band of angels?
No, you actually see him. He is an angel. Like, this is a celestial being. But he kind of like sheepishly admits, my mom is a fae creature, and my other mom is an angel. So that's how. Yeah. I'm working on it. I didn't want to. I didn't mean. I didn't want to make all this. I just. You see him kind of start to hyperventilate.
I'm just a warning. You'll be fine. Just know who you're hanging around with, because they will get you in trouble you're not ready for.
Definitely. I'll definitely be yeah. You actually see in similar fashion again. The wings pop out and shred the coat.
All right, now run along now. Just know what you're doing next time.
You got it. In a gust of wind, the angel departs. The three devils kind of like look at Molunk, like nod very approvingly. They kind of look to Sstar and they're slightly confused, and then look at the black streak. One of them actually, their eyes sort of filled with a purplish hue, like twinkle a little bit. Rad. They say in Infernal.
I say, thank you very much. Infernal, back to them.
They all laugh and kind of keep to themselves as the appliances lay dispelled of magic and devoid of life.
Malonk,
Oh, yes.
I think you did the moderator proud.
I just want to get back in time. I just want to get back in time for our meeting. Who's gonna carry these things?
That's a good question.
And with
If
that,
there was a big strong guy here, he could probably help you.
and with that, we shall go ahead and leave this intrepid troop to its own devices as the adventure draws to a quite pacifistic close. And as we yell curtain for this little production,
Ooh.
God, this was wonderful. I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to run this for y'all. If you are somehow just coming in at the tail end of this, hi, very nice to have you. If you're a part of the audience, good to have you. Look, this is all in promotion of the Kickstarter of Pactless Patrons. If you go to Pactless Patrons on Twitter, they should have a link. There should also be a link in chat being thrown about. Go ahead and support these marvelous people. It's a wonderful project with wonderful characters and obviously wonderful, wonderful voices, which I shall now let talk at length about who they are, where you can find them, and all of that good stuff. So we shall begin with the first timer, Tim.
Okay, I survived. This was super fun, and
Marvelous,
thank you all for helping me out. This is great. Pactlesspatrons.com. All the information is there, the link to the Kickstarter. I'm Tim Calloway. On the socials, I'm VegasVoiceActor.com. And I voice that big, burly, nasty, mean, but wonderfully sweet half vampire. He's full lumberjack. Half vampire, half werewolf. Full lumberjack, Corn Bloodhome. And I mean, this has just been a great experience, and you can see, I mean, this is just part of our cast, and this is just part of all the talented people that are putting this show together. And please support us and tell your friends, and I'll let someone else talk. But thank you all for watching. That's awesome.
And thank you so much for coming aboard, even though it was your first time. It was a pleasure having you, and a pleasure getting you bit by the D&D bug. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, from there, I think we'll go ahead and give many lip service to Zach. Malonk and all that.
Yeah, you can find. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Zach Meow. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much it's Zach Meow or Zach Meow Meow across almost all social media. Zach Imagine Audio is the Facebook page. It's the I'm a total pro. You can tell by how I forgot to plug my mic in all the way and lost my audio signal a couple of times during this. So it's been a real pleasure and been a lot of fun. Pactless patrons, I'm still just left in awe and wonder at the amount of talent across the spectrum. You know, from to be involved with each and every one of them.
Absolutely.
You can also find me on Audible as Zach Price, Z-A-K Price. They narrate audiobooks. You can find my body of work there. I have several coming out. I've been working a lot with Valerie Douglas, doing a lot of fantasy, and check the titles before you get any, because We've also been doing some romance and erotica, so if you'd like for me to talk dirty to you, I can do that as well.
So if you would like the voice of Molong to be in your ear holes and
With his many mouths, yeah.
with his many mouths, go
Ooh.
ahead. Go ahead and check that out. Zach Price on Audible, pactlesspatrons.com, just to give him, just to give him their due. CB,
Oh.
what floor is yours?
It's me. Hello. Critical Bard in the house, also known as CB, because C and B. Across platforms as Critical Bard, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Ko-Fi, even Facebook, but I'm barely on that page because I'm trash. I need to fix that. Don't have a YouTube yet, which is very surprising. It's the first thing I should have. I just need to fix it. Anywho, you can see me doing streams and charity streams for people. On the 27th of August, I'm doing the charity stream for One Drop for Flint. And then August 30th, I'll be in LA. But I'll also be doing a stream for the Rices with Welcome to the Party. That's it. You're gonna hear a lot more things from me. There's some things I can't announce yet that's happening as far as Critical Role goes. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just happy that Riley had this crazy idea to talk about some Warlock patrons, and all of a sudden it became a thing. I am very much I understand that very strongly because I did one thing out of nowhere, and this is where it's led me. So I'm just really excited to see where Pactless Patrons goes. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Hey, and we're happy to have you here. Also, just as a point of my own sort of knowledge, as I understand it, you have a Ko-Fi or a GoFundMe because we have an unfortunate little thing. Yes.
Yeah. Like it's weird talking about it out loud. Yeah,
Of course,
it's like
of course.
things happen because, fun fact, not only is this broke, this is broke too. But this one doesn't need a brace as often. Still hurts badly.
Yeah. So if you can, if you got the time, if you got the means, go ahead and just support CB however you can. All the relevant links on the socials and whatnot. And we shall give the floor, obviously. Callie, just a marvel to have you on board. Go ahead. Red carpet's rolled out for all y'all. Who are you? Where can we find you? What you got to plug?
Thank you so much. I don't know if I can say much more than has already been said, except kudos and ditto. But yes, I am Callie Wills. You can find me on that on Facebook. Also, I have a YouTube channel. And my Twitter is actually at Callie_Forney. And then I have an Instagram, VO, if you're interested in that. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me on, Jason. And I actually really hope that you might be able to join in the voice cast and maybe voice Befest.
Oh my God, please.
That would be amazing.
Oh, come on.
One, I ship Sstar and Befest so hard now. Two, Aston Otto still hates his guts.
Of course, yeah. No, I'm not surprised there. Yeah,
That was great.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, whatever happens. That's all I'll say. But I thank you all honestly so much. I've been Jason Catrone, the DM here at Just Jason Please on Twitter. If you want to go ahead and find out where I'm going to be, just follow me there. I'll have a pin tweet. Zach?
I just wanted to say, oh my God, I hate this mic cord right now. I just wanted to say thank you, man, Jason. Man, what a fantastic job you did.
It's a great
Thank you.
section.
I haven't gotten to play in a long time. Like I said, I end up DMing most sessions, and man, what a blast. You're really, really good at what you do. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. And if you feel the same as Zach and the rest of the players, you think I'm doing an okay job here, you can actually find me same time, same place tomorrow DMing for the Final Rites, a Southern Gothic 5e RPG that I've been running with one of the production members, actually, Angela, and a couple of other great people. Like, honestly, it's been a blast. We just introduced our first guest during our last stream. She'll be back, Alyssa from, the Plot Hunter's crew is actually playing a Water Genasi. It's a fantastic stream. I hope that you're able to catch it if you can. 2 p.m. CST. All your other time zones, you can figure it out from there. But for now, on behalf of Nerdsmith, I'm so thankful that I was able to run this wonderful one-shot for the Pactless Patron crew. Again, pactlesspatrons.com for all the information. If you want to go ahead and support myself or Nerdsmith in general, go to nerdsmith.org/support to find out just how your dollar can be spent helping this small group of upstart creatives just put out some good vibes of creative energy out into the universe. Other than that, can't think of anything else to plug. And if there is something, I'm sure somebody will be yelling at me soon.
I should probably mention that I DM every Sunday on Kill Kill TV. If I didn't, the rest of my players would probably murder me. I mean, it's like as much as they can kill a DM. So,
well,
but
I
yes.
mean, you're on a thing called Kill TV. Like,
yeah,
murder is just sort of a part of it, I figured. But
so, but
yeah,
yes,
Sundays, Kill TV as well.
Sundays at 8 Eastern. Yeah, we're finally getting into some high level play. We've got our characters are up around 10th to 12th level, and it's things are getting kind of tense. So
nice,
if anybody wants to stop by,
yeah,
I'm all right. Dad, I play my son and my father are in this game. So
oh wow,
yeah. So we have a multi-generational game. So guys, if you're watching or if you catch this video later, I did the thing. Okay.
You did the thing. Yes, that's good. That's good. You did the thing.
I also have to quickly say, and I felt bad. I did. I'm sorry. I played another game the other day that was on stream, and I forgot to plug it, and I felt really bad. I'm starting a game on the 15th with variant roles. Amazing, inclusive, diverse group of folks who just want to have fun and enjoy things. It's called A Haunted Whisper. I am playing Grigory, who is basically a mix between the Archangel Michael and Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter. With a tinge of Fabio. So
just to taste.
Wait,
Fabio.
Yes. So that's gonna be fun. Again, it's on Variant Roll. It's our Twitch channel as well. And yeah, that'd be fun.
Fantastic. Well,
awesome.
I again thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for coming. Nerdsmith.org/support if you want to find out how to get more programming like this in your eyeballs directly. If you're catching this on YouTube, hey, what's up? Good to see you. Hope that you stop on by any of our various streams, listen to any of our various podcasts, and just take care of yourselves. Beat the heat, drink a lot of water, and yeah, we'll see you around. Adios.
See you guys.